Head to Knoxville, don't be late. Baker's Live, it's gonna be great. June 5th and 6th, mark your date at Dollywood, we'll celebrate. Meet Baker and more cool friends. Live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. Rides, fun, and meet and greet. Baker and pals, the crew's so sweet. Get ready for laughs, cheers, and thrills. Knoxville's the place, it's giving chills. Meet Baker and more cool friends. Live show magic that never ends. Come to Dollywood, feel the vibe. With great people there, it's gonna be a ride. June 5th and 6th, don't miss the fun. Meet Baker and friends, it's second to none. Baker and friends, it's second to
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, what if any you might be. Maybe C. Lori loves Montana. Good morning. And Helen from Holland. Good afternoon. Hey, Katie. Dee. Well, I was out shopping earlier today, and it's not supposed to be cold, but it was just, it had that weird chill where just because you're wearing shorts, it shouldn't be that cold. And of course you're wearing shorts. It's not minus degrees, so shorts weather it is. But it nipped a bit in the old Legios. Hey, Dina from Alabama. Celestial Force. Kiki K. Matti Abianati. Jemima and Carly Kramer. And if anyone is watching right now, Ashley Benefield is having a bond hearing. She's asking for a bond, waiting for her appeal. I watched it, part of it, but I had to stop when a lady she lived with who was a missionary or something, she started crying, and I just can't take that. It's not that she's a missionary crying. It's just, come on now, you're in court. It's not you personally, but maybe I'm just a cold-hearted son of a bee. But we will be doing Natalie Cochran, the lady who is accused of poisoning her husband to cover up a Ponzi scheme with an unknown amount of insulin, maybe twice, maybe once. We don't know. And I had a kind of a come to Jesus moment yesterday because we were talking so much about Lawyer Lee, and I thought, no, I'll stay up and watch her show and see, am I wrong? Am I catching what she's catching? The flu, maybe? And I could tell maybe I had the right chat or the wrong chat, but in her chat, there was way more guilt And that's fine. I'm not here to tell you what to think because 95% of the time I don't know what I think. But the arguments they were giving was my problem, because you can have the good old, well, she's guilty because she's been accused, or she's guilty because they've proven it, or she's guilty because I don't like that smug look on her face. But the problem is, what I saw with some of the most loud people was they were actually misstating facts presented in case. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I started doing this. I think I've told, well, it's a long time since I told my origin story. Once I was a little wee baker, and because I've been doing court in Denmark for so many years, I got attracted to watching American trials to see what's the difference. And like most people, I started out watching it on Nicky Rackets. I watched Rittenhouse, AH. Uh, did he do Chandler Henderson? But I watched the Lady Cop, Taser, Taser, Taser. Derek Chauvin, I think I watched over there as well. So I know that chat can be a little rambunctious, but she's a pharmacist. She could have gotten it. No, she's not a working pharmacist. She hadn't been in a long time. Well, they had all those emails she sent. We didn't see any emails. She wrote Michael in a text message. The only text messages we was shown yesterday was something she wrote to her family, and then something to Michael where she said, maybe I haven't been forthcoming with everything. Well, that doesn't prove he didn't know about it. And that's the magic of trial watching. You can sit here and you can watch it together with 20 people or 200 people, or if you're lucky, 2,000 people. And everyone can see something else, but it's just when they get some of the basic stuff wrong. Well, we had that email where he said he was going to tell the police, show it to me, because I didn't see it. I know sometimes I zoom out and I'm on the twat telling a Danish politician that they probably need to sit on a cactus or something like that. But we never saw that email. We saw that was the attachment to some email to some trooper, but it was never shown. And that stuff, like, I just don't get. And maybe I feel kind of like us streamers, and no knock on Loyally, she presented it just the same way I had, based on what was put in there. But it's when the chat goes into those and starts attacking people with wrong facts, I just go a little. I don't like it. Hey, watch off trials, and my voice sounds like I've been partying all night. I think I might be getting something. Ooh. Hey, Hyacinth, how are you? And Mr. Shax. Iris, who has not frozen yet, but apparently is somewhere in Siberia. Gonna find me love in Siberia. She's old enough to remember that song. But I hope you're having a great trip, Irish. Wherever you are in Siberia, stay warm. Oh, you leave tomorrow? Well, Iris will be frozen in Siberia tomorrow and not be joining for my Saturday 6 p.m. giveaway show, where I will celebrate that I just became 27 years old. And as a good grifter, I will celebrate it by giving stuff away to chat. So please join us on Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you can win a few prizes. If you try. Well, if you try, you can try. I might be getting something. I feel like my head is in in cotton wool or something. Hey Tash, how are you doing this fine morning? Hey Yin Yang, still too cold to function. Yeah, well, just put an extra cover on and stay with us. Court should start in a minute. We know it won't. And what we know the defense will be bringing, they asked the cameras to show respect to the son, not film his face. So the son will be there. We have had their medical expert who has been on the phone listening. So they have a medical expert. As I said in my recap video, I need someone to tell the jury that insulin is a part of bodybuilding, and I need some receipts for illegally purchased bodybuilding supplies. Because that I feel that's the best way they can get away. Right now, I'm putting her at 90 to 95% chance of being found guilty, because I've watched enough trials to know that doesn't matter what's presented. People just get found guilty no matter what the evidence say. Need some tea? If you need tea, you just go to Irish. I noticed that as well. Listen to Lawyer Lee, because she was mentioned here yesterday. The chat comments she read about obvious guilt seemed surprising. I didn't see her reading much in the way of chats, but I thought that she presented the evidence fairly. I was talking to someone on Twitter, and we saw the evidence totally different. That they did a show completely guilty, no questions asked. She was guilty, guilty, guilty. And I didn't see that with Lawyer Lee. I thought she presented it well, and she stuck to the facts. And maybe that's why I'm a small law trooper, trial trooper, whatever we call ourselves, because I don't do the drama llama and say, well, in a surprising note, today in the Natalie Cochran case, they disclosed that she had lied to her husband. Evidence provided in court clearly showed he knew all about it. He was asking questions, and that day, he supposedly wanted to contact the po, and she went vicious and stopped him with a lethal injection. No, she didn't. No, it wasn't. Again, the evidence they showed us of him allegedly knowing about it was from September, and they never showed us he was going to spill the beans. So I know the state don't have to prove motive, but I have a feeling when you mention motive in the opening, you have to prove the motive you mentioned. It's kind of like the Karen Reed case, where in the closing, Lally changed his timeline twice. That should automatically get a jury to say, okay, no way he didn't know, but they could have hidden it since it was his family they were scamming. That's what I said yesterday. Maybe she was the one writing his family. Did he have a good relationship with her family, or were they just thinking? Because a lot of people go into business to be rich. Just look at all the YouTubers who pops up around certain big cases, and all of them have a gleam in their eye and will tell you exactly where their Venmo, their PayPal, their buy me a coffee, you can support them, the super chat button, all of that, and they will sell you all the newest gossip. No one mentioned, no one forgotten. Some will even claim that they have special secret knowledge only they have, that if you just join their members only chat tonight, and it's a fair membership price, it's only $10 a month, you can join their membership. They will tell you special inside knowledge. They are scamming people just as hard as this woman, and a lot of people don't want to do that. It's not because they want to do it with ill intent, but the money is good. And they have the money, and well, we should be using them to to facilitate our contract so we could pay back. But oh my God, I would really like a new PC. I would really, my big dream is when I become YouTube rich. Well, my biggest dream is to move to the Americas, but I'm too bad of a grifter to make that kind of money. But I really want to have a spa, like a bubble bath spa thing out in. I have a little shed, and then I have my house, and there's just the right place where there's a power outlet, and I could have it there. And when my back is killing me, I could just sit out there with the bubbles running, getting my body. I just need to grift a little bit more. So maybe I'll start doing the, hey, did you know, special discovery today. But no, I think he knew all along. Hey, Pokey. Reading chats is a dangerous game. It is, especially when someone lulls you into a false feeling of safety and said, no, they haven't been doing anything for weeks now. They have really turned around. It's a new year, new them. And then you start talking about 1940s train conduction and other things. She had her own questions on why prosecution rested and was surprised it did. Yeah, I don't feel like she had. She was all the way there either. To be fair, there are money scams where wifey never knew was he a trophy hobby. Defense claimed he was the controlling one. I don't know. They should just say he was in on it, but was going to pin it on her. I could buy that. I still think they should go with because of all his health scares, he was really picking up the weights. He's always been in fairly decent shape and doing all the sports, but now he just got upset with it. And we have these receipts from buying tests, and he was begging me to lie about the big C so I could get insulin. Oh, by the way, we got Dorian Yates here to talk about PEDs, not PDFs, PEDs in bodybuilding. I think that could be a good way as well. A jacuzzi, that's what I was thinking about. The Grizzly got an interesting case. It's a pre-trial hearing if it goes to trial. She was covering, what did I see the other day? That was it a girlfriend or something? I saw another case that I really want to cover. A Kansas man allegedly killed his stepdaughter / common law wife. Maybe I should get Shizzy to dual stream that with me because he's from Alabama. What time is it where I am? It's just past 3 o'clock. Yeah, my daughter has one of those. It costs a lot to run in electricity in our climates because I would really like it. This time of year, my back is killing me. It seizes up, and just get my oversized body into that and just waddle around for an hour. Maybe do a pool stream. It works so well for some people. Hey, 80s. It's a murder from a 13-year-old. No body found. Oh, that's interesting. Hey, Katie P. Hey, Mom. Well, I can put them up. And again, I sunbathed the same place. Again, in Denmark, we cover our junk, and it's more. It hurts them more to see me naked than it hurts me because, oh my God, no one wants to see that. Cover it. You cover it. Sounds interesting. Ew. Just don't invite others to it. I have a neighbor and he has a young girlfriend. The colds make me shiver and then the whole back gets angry from the movements. Yeah, it's just a tensing up of the muscles. I stayed up way too late listening to Brackets comeback backstream. Yeah, I woke up this morning and I got up late. I think it was like 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning. So 2, 3 o'clock Eastern time. And he was on. It was nice. Seen Valhalla finally being a mod. AM to PM. It's PM. I'm 6 hours ahead of East Coast. Good morning, Polly Popcorn. And court is now 10 minutes late, as usual. I should just have popped on the Ashley Benefield hearing, and when it ended, we could probably still catch up with this and only be 5 minutes late. Son got a hot tub, but has to lay off using it to make me a grandbaby. Well, maybe he should invite his woman into it and chicken chicken I don't know. I don't know if it's an old wives' tale or if it's true that I never had problems in that. My problem was I didn't want them and then I got them. Then I really wanted them when I had them, but yeah, I should have worn a raincoat instead. No, I shouldn't. I love my babies. Please stop. What? Any prediction on when closing will happen? Well, Jemima, if you watched my videos when I do the recap, I said I can't see them presenting more than maybe 3 witnesses, an ME to counter their ME, the son, I don't know, maybe to talk about the illegal drugs, maybe someone who has knowledge about bodybuilding. I don't see her taking the stand. So this could be in the jury's hands by noon tomorrow, I think. Hello. Hello, Jamie. I don't know what's wrong with you. No hot tubs can decrease fertility in men. Well, my problem was I should probably have been in a hot tub more than. No, this trial has been like this all along. Gotta sleep at some point. That's why I made an 8-minute video you can just digest while you're having your cereals. Is it only 2 weeks? No, that can't be true. No, you're not coming till. Oh, that's 6 weeks. She's going to testify, you think? Yeah, I said I wanted her to testify, but I think a lot of lawyers are afraid of letting their clients testify. And you have to feel how she will do, because Sarah Boone killed her own case. You have the Ashley Benefield where I believed her, Sue absolutely didn't believe her. Did Letitia Stout testify? I can't remember that. But sometimes they're their worst enemy and sometimes they're their only defense. At least this isn't a. I think Jason Chen should, with that story, he should have testified. Yeah, I just hope that they, because they come off a little, especially the tech guy or the science guy, he's so slow. Irish brief undies also decrease fertility. Also, hot caps in trucks. I like turning my seat heater on. It's the best thing about my car. Oh, and that it moves, of course. Yeah, I just hope. Why don't they do a dry run? They know they're going to need to do a dry run before we start. She wants to have a bond. It's a bond hearing pending appeal, so she can be out until the appeal runs. No, I'm leaning towards not doing it. I don't think you understand. I go from brain dead to zombie to functioning human. That takes like an hour at least. Well, my level of video, you can do that in the zombie phase. I don't think she should unless she's likable. And again, it's also how well will she keep up under pressure? Alex Murdoch came off as a big old C word. And I don't think he helped his own case. Saw a post from a local reporter saying she's going to testify, but take that with a grain of salt. I saw that post as well yesterday, but I know the jury was sent home and the courtroom was emptied. I also saw another reporter saying they talked to her defense lawyer, and he said they haven't determined it yet. So maybe, again, like I said in the beginning, special access news. If you only join my membership, that's only $25 a month. Or you can get the special one where I will wave to you once a week for only $2,500 a month. Yeah, they'll probably but you ruined so many other people's life. Why shouldn't we believe you didn't want to ruin his? Oh, Letitia didn't. No, I would have loved seeing Letitia talk about it. I've seen some of Mo's reruns of her interview. Oh my God, that woman is, she's precious. It could be that's it. I don't think she should testify because jury heard all about she's a liar because of the Ponzi business. Yeah, and that's the problem. She's the only one who can really say what happened in that house that day. And they don't have hard evidence to beat her down. But she's also a convicted felon who stole money from her own family. So yeah, that's the square peg and the round hole again. I may have missed the part, but did you change your camera angle? I tipped it a little bit more downwards because I had a lot of, and because I have my standing desk, so when I'm standing it's here, and when I'm sitting it's here. So it changes if I'm in my chair, on my high chair, or if I'm standing up. But I need to move around a bit more when I'm streaming. Murder whining about Pawpaw, what a farce. Yeah, because he didn't seem genuine. I disagree about Alex Murdoch. I don't think the state proved he did it. No, I said the same thing, and that's the beauty. We have the trials where you are 100% in agreement, and you have the trials where you are 100% in disagreement. And I like to foster an environment where you are allowed to have a differing opinion, because truth be told, when I go around and some of the chats, everyone must think the same thing. But why do you want to stream to an echo chamber? I do the night streams because I don't really have anything. I just take input from you guys, and that's really nice that you have 1,000 different things you want to ask me or talk about, and I can riff off of. Imagine if every time we started a case and I said, well, today it's going to be Ashley Benefield, a lady who she unalived her husband. There's no doubt about it. And then Sue sat in chat and said, but had we seen any proof of it? Oh, of course, Sue's here. Yeah. Well, of course you asked that. Don't you understand she's guilty? Don't you understand she did it? Well, we haven't seen any evidence. Well, who else should have done it? And then I'll say, hey, Iris, can you start attacking Sue every time she writes? And you get that. It's really nice because everyone loves you. But it just turns into an echo chamber. And I think that's why a lot of people turn away from other streamers, because it's my way or the highway. Not so much because of the streamer, but just because the dynamic they have in their chat. And I feel that's you can see it on court TV, especially, and law and crime, especially. And I go around seeing other streamers who stream just to see maybe I could do a collab with someone, maybe I can help someone grow a little bit, or and I go into some of their chats and it's just the same everyone's saying, and I would just imagine if I had to sit here all the day and say, well, yeah, clearly she's guilty, and no one asked any thought-provoking questions. I would hate that.
Good morning, all. We continue in the trial of State of West Virginia versus Natalie Cochran. This is case number 23-F-343K. All parties are present, including the defendant. As counsel is aware, Mr. Selden has been stricken by an illness. He is indisposed today. He may be joining us this afternoon or perhaps tomorrow, but he will not be here this morning for certain. I have to confirm with Ms. Cochran on the record that she is comfortable with going forward with one of her attorneys absent. And I ask you directly, Ms. Cochran, is this agreeable with you? Can you go forward with Mr. Victor handling matters in Mr. Selden's absence?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so you waive the presence of Mr.
Skinny defense guy, Mr. So, let me ask it this way, I can't headbutt my mic. Mr. Skinny guy.
Mr. Selden, at least for today's purposes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you very
We
much.
will have the penguin.
I would ask that it be announced to the jury, Your Honor, so the jury will notice the absence of.
Indeed, I will. I will certainly do that. All right. Are there any other
I
matters?
think this is a gift from Big Dog. He was very generous on my last morning stream.
That we need to take up out of the presence of the jury?
State would ask that the equipment be turned on. We anticipate using it today.
Let's do that right away.
Just that the skinny defense lawyer is sick today. We just started. They are 20 minutes late as always.
A no-look shot. Thanks, sir.
Yes, bring in the jury, please.
Let's hear if they got their sausage biscuits. Question for European. Is it, I know biscuits is what you call those small breakfast rolls. It's not a biscuit, but you're American. We'll live with that. But is it like a pig in a blanket where it's baked into it, or is it a biscuit and then did you had some gravy with biscuit pieces in it? I need to know stuff like about food. Well, I'm coughing.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Good morning. I hope you enjoyed your chicken biscuits this morning. I got them a little early, and I didn't realize that they might be somewhat cold by the time you were served, but a cold chicken biscuit is better than none.
You are welcome to come to Scandinavia and enjoy the good Danish food or the crappy rest of Scandinavia food. Well, I don't know if you can call it food what the Swedes eat.
Right. Well, you're very welcome. Thank you very much for your service, and thank you for being here promptly. The weather is not cooperating. It's freezing cold out there, and you folks are great to be here when you're.
Oh, I think I had them at Chick-fil-A, and they were great, especially with honey. I think I had some with grape jam on as well, because when in Rome, and the expert told me you had to have that, I liked that. That was good. I would weigh 500 pounds if I lived in the States.
Opposed to you're very patient and very cooperative. I need to explain to you,
Oh, I'm
we
taking you
don't
to
have
school.
Mr. Selden here this morning. He was stricken with a minor illness yesterday evening. He's going to be okay, but he's indisposed right now. He will not be here this morning. He may be able to join us this afternoon if he feels better, and hopefully he will be here tomorrow. So we will miss him, but just put that out of your mind and don't consider his absence at all in terms of the case. And Mr. Victor will certainly take the lead and proceed on behalf of the defendant. All right. We yesterday evening learned that the state had rested their case. And as I explained to you, they completed the presentation of the state's evidence. Now it is the defense turn to present whatever evidence they would care to proceed with. We will start without further ado with the defense case. And I will ask Mr. Victor to please call his first witness.
The defense will call Brianna Hawley.
I don't know what you heard, Pernilla.
If you'll raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may have a seat right there.
Yeah, Lolita Smiles, that's what we said yesterday. And the big bombshells, for me, they didn't land. But around 20% of my chat says, well, they proved it. And that's fair. And that's why I started talking about going around to other channels and seeing a lot more people think she's guilty over there. Maybe I fostered the wrong thing, or maybe it's the right thing. Join Baker's channel for right thinking.
All right, if you'll kind of pull that microphone up close, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh.
You may proceed, Mr. Victor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Hawley, would you please state your name for the record?
It is Brianna Michelle Hawley.
Hey, Jamie.
What do you do for a living, ma'am?
I'm a registered nurse.
Let me, without any further ado, invite your attention to about 2016 or 2017. What was your profession at that time?
I was a school nurse. I done PRN. I worked at the Beckley VA Medical Center full time, but I did do PRN.
Jamie, I know how you have it with a Boston accent. Can I say, listening to this lady's accent kind of makes me feel like when Jasmine Bleeth ran down the beach next to Pamela Anderson in Baywatch. Ooh.
As a school nurse for Raleigh County Schools.
Okay. Do you know Jennifer Davis?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know her husband, Christopher?
I know who he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they had a child. They have a child by, I will just use the initials, GD. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes,
That child was attending school where you were a nurse, right?
correct.
Was this child afflicted with any type of medical problems?
Yes, sir.
What was this child afflicted with?
He had diabetes.
Type 1?
Yes, yes, sir.
Since you were a nurse, it's a pretty serious condition.
Very much so.
Does that require, what does it require, the treatment of it or maintenance of it?
So this particular child had an insulin pump to where you can program and it would automatically give insulin. And to the best of my knowledge at that time, he had a continuous glucose monitor, which is also called a CGM.
Okay.
First of all, why are we talking about someone else's kid? And second of all, can you talk about someone else's kid's medical history?
So I mean, he's letting it in. So we'll see where this goes. I'm not really sure.
I thought you had that hippo rule.
I mean, they're not like saying anybody's name and reading off like specific medical history. So
No, but they're talking about treatments and medication.
yeah, but we don't know by who.
Well, I
You
thought
know
I
what
was
I'm saying?
smart, Jamie.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
You could have let
clearly
me
they're
have
letting
that
it
one,
in.
but programming note: Stitz and Beach has been moved to tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, so to not conflict with Baker's birthday stream. Thank you, Jemima, and thank you everyone who joins those funny things on the Discord, the movie nights and the Smiths and Smiths. It keeps it alive.
So as a nurse, I would, monitor, provide insulin based off what he ate, and just monitor his care based off his blood sugar.
Do you know Natalie Cochran?
Yes, sir.
How do you know Natalie Cochran?
And Natalie is my husband's first cousin.
Okay. Was there a time when Ms. Davis asked?
Yeah, she has. I don't know if it's a drain or it's some. Jamie, do you know what it is she has in her nose?
I don't know. I have
It
no
didn't
idea.
look like she had an oxygen tank with her.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
A feeding tube.
In her
Feeding tube.
nose?
Yeah, you do that. My sister had a friend who had twins around the same time, and they had to feed the kid for a long time because they were premature twins. They are really small.
I didn't realize they do it in the nose. I thought they did it like in the stomach. But
You don't chuck a tube into the stomach. You put it in from the top.
yeah, like they have a feeding tube in the stomach a lot of the time.
I just have to say, when I hired Jamie, and she's cheap. She takes it only cost me $100,000 a month to have her. She told me she was a registered nurse with
I am
medical.
not by
She is-
any means.
I feel I've been shafted.
to, or at least
Don't
advise
even
you
tell anybody that because it's not
what
I
to do in case of any problems with her child's diabetes.
Yes, sir. In case that I could never get a hold of Jennifer or Chris, then Natalie could be a backup for any questions, concerns, or anything like that.
Natalie Cochran.
Natalie Cochran, yes, sir.
And would she be? Why was she selected to be the backup plan for the Davises?
My understanding is because they were friends, and Natalie helped Jennifer during his time of his new diagnosis because she better understood it, and she was, helped with the plan of care.
Could she administer the medication to this
I
child?
mean, I'm sure she could. It was through an insulin pump. It was not a syringe, but I'm sure she could have.
Okay. So she was the person empowered by, at least selected by the Davises to be a person who would treat this child or help this child in moment of need as far as his diabetes.
So, I mean, as far as my understanding, yes. It's been so many years ago, I don't know if there is paperwork, but that was my understanding with Jennifer, that Natalie could be a backup.
That's all the questions I have.
All right, cross-examination.
State has no question.
How is it helping? The vial of insulin she allegedly kept in her refrigerator if the neighbor's kid had an accident or had a
That's
crash.
what I got out of it too.
Yeah. It's a school nurse who testified that Natalie was helping out the neighbor with the son.
Your Honor, thank you.
Very well. May this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
So far as the state's concerned, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Hawley. You may step down. You are excused. Call your next witness, please, Mr. Victor.
I will call Nicole.
That's why you should follow me on Discord or Twitter, where I'll almost always update when I go live. Who are the two girls behind the defendant? I don't know. They have been there. One of them have been in the entire trial. I think someone asked Lawyer Lee if it was his daughter, and she said no. Maybe the other girl who's come is the daughter. I'm not sure.
Cochran.
Jennifer, the neighbor? Who was the neighbor? It's a school nurse. Was it a Cochran they're calling now?
I heard Cochran is the last name, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know who. I thought he said Paul Cochran, but I don't know if that's his name.
Oh, so it's a kid now. Allegedly, in Minecraft and everything, the rumor is she will take the stand. That's supposedly what she have told reporters.
You raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
No, that's not her
You
son.
have a seat right there.
Would you state your name for the record?
Nicole Cochran.
Ms. Cochran, you have to speak up.
Nicole Cochran.
Louder.
Nicole Cochran.
Oh my God, guy.
If you could just scoot up a little bit closer to the mic, and that'll help.
Do you know Natalie Cochran?
Yes.
How do you
Yes.
know her?
She's my mother.
She's your mother. So you've known her all your life.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to invite your attention to, let's say year 2017, somewhere around that area. Who lived in your house at that time?
My mother, my father, myself, and my brother.
Okay. Who is your father?
Michael Cochran.
And I just want you to use the initials only. Who is your brother?
MAC.
Okay. Amazing. How old is
So
he?
he's a narc?
He's 17.
So 5 or 6 years ago, he would have been what? 12, 13?
Yes.
Yeah, and her brother will be 17 years old, and I really hope they need her. I really, if it's just to put her up there to put a human face on their mother, I dislike that.
What was your mother's job?
She was a pharmacist.
Where did she work?
She worked at Access Health.
Okay. Was there a time when she quit being a pharmacist?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the year?
I believe somewhere between 2016 and 2017, I was in middle school.
Okay. What did your father do for a living?
He worked with technology.
What does that mean?
I'm not entirely sure.
Work with computers?
Yes.
Okay. What was the purpose of working with the computers? Do you know?
No, she doesn't.
Do you know?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Did your mother and your father ever establish any business?
Yes.
What type of business or businesses did they have in 2016, 17, 18? Do you know?
Technology Management Solutions and Tactical Solutions Group.
Okay. The first business, what did it deal with? Do you know?
It was a form of federal contracts, I believe, that my father would do for technology purposes.
That your father would do, son?
Yes.
Okay. What type of contracts are we talking about?
I believe they were federal and state.
Okay. What were they doing in plain terms? Buying, selling, what were they doing?
To my knowledge, they were buying technology and reselling them, I believe. But
You
I'm
do
not,
what? Speak up.
sorry, I believe that they were
Don't yell
buying
at your
technology.
witness. I hate it when the lawyers who call a witness to the stand yell at them. This is an innocent little girl that you will use to try and defend her mother. Don't yell. Speak up. You're not in the army now. Oh, whoa, in the army now.
like reselling them through bids for the government, but I'm not entirely sure on the specifics.
Did you ever witness your father prepare any contracts?
I never saw them, but I always saw him working on his computer, and he would say that that's what he was doing,
Say that he was doing what?
that he was filling out contracts.
Okay. Did your mother do that?
No,
Did your father ever talk to you about his job or his work?
all he would say is that he was doing contracts with the government, but he would never go into too many specifics with me.
Okay. Did you have a nice lifestyle in 2016, 17, 18?
Yes,
Tell us about.
Hanging out at malls, spending money, looking at boys, like every other good teenager. This poor girl was a teenager. They don't necessarily pay attention to what parents do, and pitting one against the other is just wrong. If you ask me what my siblings do, I know one of them is a production planner. I don't know what that means. I know another one works in IT with projects. And the last one is a back office something. That has to do with having two spreadsheets and the numbers should fit in the end. I couldn't tell you anything other than all of them works in an office. I have no idea. And I'm pretty sure if they tell them what their brother is doing, they say he's a baker, well, he bakes bread. They have no idea what a baker does. It's this guy is there to make everyone seem super likable and super behind the defendant, and he's yelling like he's a commandant back in Poland.
Yeah.
So I just pop on, know nothing about this case. Lawyer seems greasy and gross personality. Well, he's quite funny because he have a thick Polish accent, but he has a very combative personality.
Yeah, you have to see him in the whole scheme of things. He's actually quite good, but he can have these moments where it's like, you need to calm down.
Yeah, and don't yell at kids. And Jamie, I think you're on the wrong mic.
Your lifestyle at that time.
I would say that we were pretty wealthy. In that time frame, my father had just gotten a new car, and we had some new boats.
Some what?
Some new boats.
Boats?
And there was talk about buying a hangar for a plane.
Whose plane was it?
It was Chris Davis's plane, but I believe my father eventually wanted to have his own.
Okay. How about motorcycles? Your father had some, didn't he?
He always had one motorcycle, but during that time we bought some new ATVs.
Okay, ATVs. How about that 65 Cobra that we heard so much about?
Yes, that was his new car.
That was his new car. How many houses did you guys have?
We had one that we resided in, and then my father had bought and renovated a house for Chris Davis's aunt, and then we were
It's the brother because he's a minor.
putting an offer in on a new house for ourselves in Flat Top.
Okay. Did your father also buy an office?
Yes.
Where was that?
It was in Beckley, close towards the park and the Armory, like down that way.
Was life good at that time? Money was pouring in?
Financially, yes.
Financially, yes. Did you guys take any exotic trips? No, exotic.
We went to Paris, and
Who is we?
my mother, my father, myself, and my brother, I got asked on a school trip, so they all came as well.
Okay. And whenever you talk about your brother, please use the initials, okay?
She didn't mention his name. Why are they asking about this stuff? To show that everyone was living high on the hawk, or whatever it is you Americans say, and that the father helped spend the money to show that he wasn't unaware. I think so.
How long did you spend in Paris?
We were there for 2 weeks, I believe.
Did you spend a lot of money there?
Yes, my dad wanted to shop a lot.
Okay. What did he shop for?
He mostly wanted to go to luxury stores,
Such as
Louis Vuitton.
Louis Vuitton.
Man in
Okay.
Louis Vuitton.
And did you guys go to Hawaii too?
Yes, but that was when I was in 5th grade. So
Oh, okay.
it was years.
Who paid for that, by the way?
She was in 5th grade. She don't know.
All right, who went to Hawaii?
My mother, my father, myself, and MAC.
Okay. And how long did you stay in Hawaii?
I believe it was a week.
Okay. All right. Did you, in about 2017, 18, 19, did you do some extraordinary things that involved a lot of money?
I would say
Jamie, how much did your dad pay for that trip you took down to Muskego County?
I don't know.
Jamie, how much did your dad pay for that car he bought when you were in 5th grade?
I don't know.
Jamie, how much is your mom's Tupperware collection worth?
Good question. Probably 50 cents. But, I
It's
don't even
ridiculous.
know how much he paid for the car he bought me when I got my driver's license. So,
No, I know what he's trying to do, but
yeah.
why would a 5th grader know about a trip to Hawaii, what it costs? I was told my mom and dad took us on a trip when I was 5 years old in 1st grade. And again, we were 4 kids and I had poor parents. And my dad, I think he borrowed against his pension, and it took them like 10 years to pay off that trip. I didn't know how much they paid. I think they paid like $25,000 back then, and that's more than it cost me to fly to the States and stay there for a week now.
Mhm.
So back then, it would have been, it's maybe like 50,000 today. But I didn't know that till I cleaned up after he died, and I found, of course, my mom saved all the old receipts and stuff like that. So I found receipts from a trip we took when I was 5 years old, but I had no idea I was going to Tenerife, and that was fun. I got to walk on a
Yeah.
volcano.
Oh,
say the new purchases of the cars and the boats and things would be the main.
he needs to
Motor-
focus more on like what the household
Where
was
was the money
like, the
coming from, you know?
relationship and stuff.
Why would
My
it?
father always said that it was the contracts, so I just never assumed anything differently.
Okay. I want to ask you something about, well, did your father ever let you know what was happening on his computer, what he was doing? Was he ever telling you what he was working on other than the contracts?
No, he only ever referred to them as the federal and state contracts.
Okay. Was he secretive about it?
With me, yes, I would say.
Okay.
I don't tell my kids
to
what
ask
I'm
you
doing online.
about
I
your
just have a
father's
YouTube
health.
channel.
Was there a time in 2000, well, from the, let's say 2015, 16, when you were in middle school, how was your father doing health-wise?
He was very agitated and irritated mentally, and he was having a lot of headaches, I would say.
Was he always like that?
No.
No, I'm asking you right now about 2015, 16.
Oh.
Was he normal? Was he abnormal? What?
In that time, he was normal, I would say.
What did he do for fun?
He worked out a lot, and he would participate in like tough man competitions.
He won one, didn't he?
He got 6th place in one at the fair.
He won one. He got
Did he,
sixth
did he
place.
pull a tractor one day or
Sixth
something?
place.
He
at the
pulled
fair.
a Hummer, like a military vehicle.
In a competition?
Yes.
Did he win?
No, that was the 6th place.
Oh, that was the 6th place. Did he ever want to be a bodybuilder? Or was he a bodybuilder?
I would say that he considered himself to be, but he never participated in competitions such as that.
Oh, he did. Okay. Did he work out a lot?
Yes.
Did he care about his outward appearance, the physique?
Yes, it mattered a lot to him.
How about the image? Did he care about that a lot?
I believe so.
How so?
He would never leave the house without being fully, like, perfect, I would say. And he wanted everyone to think that he was perfect in a sense and strong, I would say.
Okay. Are you familiar with his medication taking?
Yes.
What was he taking his medication for?
Most of what he took was for gaining muscle, like for working out supplements and things.
Okay. What type of medication was he taking? Do you know?
I know that he took steroids, and he took many other supplements.
I'm sorry, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I again,
Especially at her age.
I have a history of going to meathead gyms. I know who's on roids because you can tell by their physique. You like his physique? If I was doing an illegal substance, no matter if it's to be stronger, slimmer, party, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't tell my teenage daughter that, hey, daddy needs a good old shot of horse tranquilizer in the buttocks. To me, that seems weird.
The only thing I can say is like if she found it, maybe, and she asked her mom maybe or something like, but who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows?
She didn't know any answers to the first questions. No, she didn't know anything about their lavish lifestyles, but she know he did roids. And maybe, he could have put her name on everything because the government have incentive. We have the same in Denmark, where we support female-run businesses. Maybe that's why they had her name on it. He could be, but again, we'll have to find out. This is the defense in chief. Yeah, but again, roids is something because it's very. I've been in a meathead gym run by strongmen, and a lot of bodybuilders go there. It's not allowed to openly talk about any stuff. As the owner said, well, I have my own history, and if anyone asks me, I will advise them, but no one is allowed to sell or promote or anything at the gym because it's like dealing drugs. You don't want that the police will come and talk to you. And I have a hard time believing that you would tell your 14-year-old girl or how old she was, hey, daddy's going to go on the magic juice.
But I don't know the names of the supplements.
Well, tell us how he did that daily. Did he do it daily?
Yes, every morning.
Every morning. How did he do that?
He would lay all of his pills out on the counter, and
You
there would
don't
be
take
so
roids
many
for
of
pills.
them that they would just sit in a whole circle and it looked like the size of a dinner plate. And then he would scoop them handfuls at a time into his mouth and use the sink water to drain them down.
You don't do
take the
roids
steroids
and
as well.
pills.
How many pills were there? Just roughly.
Probably around 40 a day.
And you don't know what they were?
No,
Not-
I remember
not local
a
fairs.
lot of them he got from GNC in the mall.
You
Where
don't
else
get
did he get
roids
it
at
from, you know?
GNC.
He said that he ordered his steroids from Mexico. But I don't know the specifics on the other ones.
He never explained anything else about that Mexico.
No, at first he didn't really want my brother and I to know, but we eventually realized what they were, and he told us.
What were those pills?
They were vials of steroids that he would get from Mexico.
And
That's
what
not
would
a
he
pill.
do with that?
He would take them through a dropper usually in the mornings.
Did he ever inject?
I'm not sure.
Okay. But you saw him use the medication orally and, well, use a dropper. And what did he do with the dropper?
He would just put them in. He would put them in his mouth.
Okay. So that would be also oral.
Yes.
What's Black Beauty? Is it some love drug I need to know about?
In about 2017, did you start noticing any changes in your father's health?
Yes.
What did you notice?
He was very agitated and angry, more so than not. And he was having a lot of headaches, and he would complain about them frequently. And he wasn't eating as much as he used to.
Did he have back surgery in 2017? Do you remember?
I'm not entirely sure when he had back surgery, but I remember him having it.
Okay. How long did he stay in the hospital for that? Or was it an outpatient?
For the back surgery, I'm not sure.
Okay. Did he like to go to hospitals?
No, he hated them.
What did he tell you about these hospitals?
He considered them to be a waste of his time and that he never wanted to be in one again.
Was there ever a time that he had to go to the hospital in 2018, if you recall?
Yes,
He went there for one day at the end of October 2018.
I believe so, yes.
Do you know what prompted his going to the place where he apparently hated, such as the hospitals?
The doctors, I believe, thought that he had a brain tumor.
Okay.
I'm not sure what led for him to be there, like the
Well,
symptoms.
what did he complain about the time when he first went to the hospital in October of 2018?
I believe it was the headaches
Headaches,
and some dizziness, maybe.
dizziness. Did he ever lose consciousness?
Not in my presence that I'm aware of.
Do you know of him losing consciousness?
I believe it did happen. He got very dizzy and then just got really out of it.
He came back later that day or the next day, but then he had to go to the hospital on November the 2nd, right?
Yes,
What was wrong with him then?
I believe it was the same thing.
He stayed 5 days in the hospital?
I believe so, yes.
Did you visit him in the hospital?
Yes.
Obviously. What did you observe when you were in the hospital?
He seemed kind of out of it, but he was actually really nice. He said some kind things to my brother and I, because he didn't think he would get another chance to.
Is that what he told you?
He told me that he always appreciated my intelligence and that he never told me that, but he wanted me to know it now just in case he never got to say it again.
Did you take it as a farewell to life for him?
I've always considered that to be kind of like my goodbye.
Okay. But he pulled through and he came home, right?
Yes.
And how did he act and behave after he came back to came back home?
He acted like it never took place, but he was still very angry all the time and he was still having the same symptoms as before.
Headaches,
Yes, and the dizziness.
dizziness. Did it ever go away?
Not to my knowledge.
In January of 2019, shortly before his death, how did he behave?
He was kind of acting crazy.
All right.
He was very upset and angry all the time.
Okay. Was he forgetful?
Yes.
What would he forget?
Just little things throughout the day, like what he was doing or things like that. The date.
Did he appear to be in any discomfort?
He complained about the headaches a lot, and I believe that irritability was a symptom of his discomfort.
Okay. Did he ever go to sleep and stay asleep for a long period of time?
He was always asleep before I left for school, and he would sleep in usually.
Okay. Approaching February of 2019, did his condition improve or did it get worse? Or did it stay the same?
I would say as time went by, it continued to worsen.
I think maybe it's one of those encouraging smiles. I don't know. Some people have weird face. That's why I never use my face, because people read it wrong.
Tell us how, from your own observations.
As I've mentioned, just how agitated and irritable and headaches, they just continued to increase more and more, it seemed like.
Maybe she's just happy to see
Did
her
anybody
daughter.
in your family suggest that he go back to the hospital or a doctor or seek medical help or advice?
Many around him were concerned for him.
And was there a suggestion that he go to the hospital?
I'm not sure, but I remember several people wanted him to stop taking his steroids.
Oh, was he taking steroids at that time?
Yes,
Still a plate full of steroids?
a plate
It's
full
not a
of
plate full of
medications and
steroids,
vials
you
of
idiot.
steroids.
Okay. And he was still receiving some of those steroids from Mexico, I take it?
Yes,
And he was taking those vials with the pills,
yes,
and he still worked out?
yes, pretty frequently.
Could he work out with all those headaches? And
Don't ask those questions.
I believe that he still went to the gym, but I don't know the intensity of the workout as compared to before.
Oh, that Abby. Yeah, she looks like her and sounds a bit like
Um,
her as well.
was there a time in February, right before February the 6th, that you believe that he felt the worst?
Yes,
What was the was there any new condition, or all the conditions that he had so far worsened? What was happening?
they were worsening and his appetite was continuing to decrease.
They did find some roids in his parents' house that she had given to them, but it was not roids. It was not an anabolic. It was the other thing. Jamie will probably tell us what it is.
Like the prednisone.
Yeah. It was some roid that you use to treat inflammation more than the anabolic you need. You use to
Medical steroid.
pump it up.
So he wouldn't eat.
He would not eat as much as he used to.
Okay, and yet he took the steroids and whatever substances he was using.
Yes,
Anabolics? Was he ever using anabolics? Do you know?
I'm not really sure what anabolics are.
Okay. Do you know any names of the substances that he was using?
No, but I know what they look like.
Okay. Where did he keep those substances?
Above the place on the counter where he would take his medicine, we had 2 cabinets. We had one that was for all of our prescription meds for the family, and his were in there. And then he had a larger cabinet filled with protein powders, supplements, and the boxes of the steroids.
He had his own cabinet?
Yes,
Did anybody have access to that cabinet?
yes, we could open it, but we knew not to take any of his things.
You couldn't touch any of his things, right?
Yes, unless he told us we could, like for protein powder or something.
Okay. The day before your father collapsed, how did he feel? Do you recall that day?
He was still feeling all the symptoms, the irritability, the headaches, the dizziness, the lack of appetite. But at that point, it just kind of seemed like a normal thing because he had been feeling them for so long.
Was he forgetful more than usual?
Yes, I would say that continued to happen.
What did he forget things? What did he forget?
He
To
would,
do things? What?
yes, to do things, and he would forget about saying certain things, or I'm trying to remember specifics. Sorry.
Okay. The day before your father collapsed was also the day when your mother went to a doctor, right?
Yes,
What was wrong with your mother?
I believe she was sick.
What was she sick with? Do you know?
How should she know?
I think that she was throwing up, if I remember correctly.
That she was doing what? Speak
Sorry,
up.
I think that she was throwing up, if I remember correctly.
Oh my lord, guy.
I'm not entirely
Calm
sure.
down.
She wasn't.
I don't
exactly
know
a model
why
of health
he's going
either.
down this road.
Was
It's
she?
stupid.
No,
What was wrong with her?
she had been in like cancer She had cancer.
Well, did she have any problems with her heart?
Yes.
Was she on some type of device that is attached to her
Yes.
to monitor her heart rate and all that?
Yes.
She is still on it until today, isn't she?
Yes.
All right. Well, when she had those heart problems, she went to all kinds of doctors, right?
Yes.
And there was a suggestion that she might be afflicted with cancer at one point, right?
Yes.
Do you know whether she went to Cleveland Clinic for that?
Yes. I believe that was the name of it.
Did they reject her for lack of insurance? Do you know?
I know what you're doing, and I know that you think you're doing the right thing, but why are you asking a daughter about her mom's medical history? I have suffered from chronic back pains since before I had my first daughter. Whenever I had days that was intolerable, where I couldn't walk, where I had to go to the doctor, get injections to just try to relax my muscles, and when we were divorced and my kids were at my house, I would get my parents to help me with the kids. I would be in bed, and I would just tell them, Daddy has a bad back day today, and you have to hang out with Grandma. And they knew I couldn't pick them up. Then they would be in bed watching cartoons or something with me while I was just laying there. I didn't say, well, kids, I have 2 herniated discs, and I have my spinal cord has too much pressure on it today, and that makes my back seize up so badly that I'm afraid they'll never straighten out again, and I would never walk again because the pain is just intolerable. No, I just had a bad back day, and if they wanted to give me a hug, we could do that while lying down. I couldn't pick them up, but if they were in need of comfort or anything, they would crawl up to me, and I could do it in bed. They know I have a bad back. They don't know what's wrong with me. They don't know medication what I'm taking. You're a parent. You don't tell your kids stuff like this. To me, that makes her seem more coached when he goes into details like this.
Nowadays, parents overshare, just saying. But,
Yeah, but
how old was she
not
during
with
this
your kid.
time, by the
Not
way?
not with your kids. Your kids, you will all well, if you're a normal person, you will hide most stuff for them. My siblings didn't understand that my mom was kicking the bucket from the big C. I had to tell my brother that you better plan the christening of your daughter if you want mom to be here. He said, no, she's doing fine. She's smiling. She's happy. She said, yeah, but you weren't there the last 2 weeks where I helped dad trying to feed her, trying to get her into bed, out of bed. I was called in the middle of the night to come because I had protein powders and she couldn't eat, but she had they have those protein shakes that you make for big C patients, and he didn't have any of that, and she really wanted something, and finally she wanted something to eat, so I drove over at 3 a.m. and gave her a protein shake just to see her take one spoonful, and then we had to help her to the toilet. My siblings didn't see that. They didn't know anything. She's doing fine. I said, no, she's not. They weren't there when my mom was rushed to the hospital because of her lung tissue dissolving. No one knew that because we hid it from them. They didn't need to know. Because you hide stuff like that. She's doing okay today. Yeah, it's tough, but she's doing good. Don't worry about her.
I don't
Me and
think
my
she
dad
was
did that.
17 at the time, Laura.
Yeah, she
How
was
old was she?
17. No, she wasn't 17 at the time. It's 5 years ago, and she's 20. Yeah, well, she was 17. Sorry. Yeah.
Was she? Oh, okay. I thought they were talking about the time she was around 13, 14.
Yeah, but I don't believe that you have a full medical history of your mom or dad when you're 17 years old. That's stupid.
I think you kind of are aware, but you might not know details.
You
I
know
mean,
it's
everybody's different.
it's not like James's mom and dad, but it's the same with people whose parents drink. They know they're drinking, but they also actively try to forget it, to hide it from everyone else. It's yeah. I didn't tell my kids when I was diagnosed with MS. I didn't want to burden my kids. Kids need to be kids, not worried about adult issues. Exactly. And you'll say, well, mom is having a bad day today, so I'll be here in bed, and you can come in if there's anything. And it's he's wanting her to have a detailed list of her prescriptions. It's just too much.
I wasn't aware.
No, I don't talk money with
Do
my.
you know whether she went to Duke?
Yes,
Okay. And she was seeking cancer treatment from Duke? Is that what?
yes, they believe she had some type of blood cancer, I think.
Okay. Were you concerned about it?
Yes,
No, of course you were concerned. Well, the day before Michael, well, your father collapsed, she went to a doctor, and what did the doctor do with her? Did he give her any medication? What do you know about that?
I'm not sure.
Okay. How was your mother acting the day before your father collapsed? How sick was she, to your knowledge?
I believe she was pretty sick.
Okay. You said she was throwing up?
Yes,
She have a fever?
I'm not sure.
Did
About,
she stay in bed?
yes, that wasn't uncommon though with the cancer for her.
All right. She was supposed to fly to Virginia the next day, right? Did you know anything about that?
I can't recall.
Okay. How did she feel the next day when you woke up? How did your mother feel the next day?
I believe she was still pretty sick.
Okay. All right. When you came and you went to school that day, right?
Yes,
And your brother also went to school, right?
yes.
When you came home, who was at your residence?
My mother and the Hamiltons.
Okay. Anybody else? Did you recall?
I believe it was just them when I came home, but I'm not entirely sure.
Did anybody else show up later?
Yes,
Who was that?
Mr. Treadway, Chris Davis came, and then my aunt Penny, I believe.
Okay. All right. And at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the decision was made to do what with your father? Well, let me start there. Your father was asleep.
Yes,
Did he snore?
yes,
Okay. That was similar to the first time when he went to the hospital in November, right?
I believe so.
But in November, he woke up, right?
Yes,
Okay. So now he's asleep. He's on a couch, right?
yes.
About 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, what time did you get home, by the way?
We rode the bus, so it was probably around 2:45 and 3.
Okay. And around 4 o'clock, it was decided he was going to the hospital.
Yes,
Okay. All right. Was your father a happy man?
no.
When was the happiest that you ever saw him?
When we had money, when he believed he was going to get paid, I would say.
He was happy when he was going to get paid. What kind of statement is that? I bet you he was happy the day he held you in his arms the first time. I bet he was happy that day where everything had just been effed up on the job, but you came running home in your pigtails and said, "Daddy, Daddy, I draw a picture for you in school today." I know you're coaching your witnesses, but please, it's her own dad. She just said he only cared about money. I don't like this. I'm sorry.
What was Natalie's reaction after Michael passed away?
She was very distraught.
Would it be a fair statement that Natalie loved Michael with all her heart?
Yes.
Right? That's all the questions I have of this witness.
Cross-examination?
Thank you, Honor. Ms. Cochran, you've had a very tough last few years. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
When you went from trips to Paris, trips to Hawaii, to having to move out of your house, that has been very hard on you, hasn't it?
Yes.
In 2019, in February 2019, what grade were you in?
8th grade.
8th grade. Okay. And you were how old?
12 or 13.
Okay.
Oh, so she was young.
Did you always take the bus, or did one of your parents or somebody else take you to school?
Usually my mother would take me to school.
Okay. And then you and your brother would ride the bus home?
It just depended on the day.
So
She might. I don't know. I don't live in her head, but
Yeah.
it's the same with.
Could be true.
It's the same with Doug Benefield's daughter. Did she feel that way, or is it because that's going 2 years where people have talked about how, wasn't it Doug Benefield's daughter, the one who was pimping her TikTok?
Yeah.
I always have a hard time with witnesses, especially kids that has lived with their mom for this many years, being filled with, well, daddy wasn't good enough. It's kind of like in divorce cases where, well, your dad was an a-hole when he lived here. I just feel it's unnatural. And again, it's her dad still.
sometimes she would come and pick you up?
Yes.
Is there anybody else that transported you?
Sometimes my babysitters would pick us up from school.
Okay. And what school did your brother go to at that time?
I believe we both went to Shady Middle.
Okay. Have you met with this gentleman right here, Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Did he interview you? Did he think, what are you going to say? Did he ask you that?
He
Yes,
asked
it
me
started a
about
half an hour before this.
questions during that time.
Okay. Did he record anything from you or write anything down? Information you gave him?
Marissa, get him on a CPAP. My dad got that and everything changed.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Your Honor, under Rule 612, if the defense has a statement of this witness, we'd like you, please.
All right. Is there a statement, Mr. Victor? Would you confer with your investigator?
No, Your Honor. The only time my investigator talked to this witness was in our office.
Does he have any notes on that? Okay.
What was that?
You're in middle school and you don't really know what your dad does for a living, but he told you he does something with contracts. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And your mom had left her job as a pharmacist. How long before your dad started these contracts?
It was after.
Do you know when your mom stopped working as a pharmacist?
I want to say I was in 7th grade, but I'm not entirely sure.
Fair enough. Do you know what your mom made as a pharmacist?
I know she made good money.
To you, that means what?
I believe it was over $80,000 a year.
And she left that job to do what for a living?
My father asked her to leave her job
To do what?
to stay at home and to assist him, but I never saw her do so.
So she had, as far as you know, she had nothing to do with your dad's businesses. Is that what you're saying?
I never saw her do anything, no.
Okay. And in fairness, you never really saw your dad do anything. He just said to you, I'm working on contracts,
I saw him constantly on his computer and making phone calls.
but you don't know what he was doing.
He told me that they were federal and state contracts.
Okay. And he said, I'm federal and state contracts. What did he say to you?
I am working on contracts.
I'm working on contracts. And how many times did he tell you that?
He did it every day.
How many times?
This is the problem with having statements like this, because she'll now look coached in front of the jury.
How many times did he tell you you did that?
Anytime I asked,
How many times did you ask him?
frequently.
Frequently. Okay. So you're intimately involved with your dad's conversations over his contracts. You don't know what he does for a living, but you know about him doing contracts.
Objection.
And your mom had
She
nothing
did
to
say
do with
what
that
he did
business
for a
as far
living.
as you know. Is that right?
Yes,
Okay. You're in college now?
yes.
Where do you go to school?
Concord University.
What year are you?
It's my second year, but I'm considered a junior.
Okay. Well, your intelligence has been noted, so you're ahead of some of your incoming freshman class. What's your concentration? What's your major?
Accounting and finance.
Do you
She's
stress
going
out
into
over
business with her mom.
finals, or are you just so ahead of the game that doesn't bother you at all?
Yeah, I said earlier.
I know
that,
how to study, so I just make
that's
sure I
good
have
humor.
enough time to do so.
Okay. You know some of your friends that don't take that approach and maybe get a little uneasy around finals time?
My friends are pretty similar to me, I would say.
So you wouldn't know anything about stress of finals or any of that stuff?
I understand stress, but I don't stress over finals usually.
Okay. You understand stress. Would it be fair to say that your dad was acting like a man who was under stress when you answered defense questions about how he was doing and feeling?
I would consider him agitated. Yes.
Agitated. Under stress?
I don't know the cause of the agitation.
Okay, fair enough. You went to school on the date that your dad collapsed at the normal time?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, what would the normal time be?
We would normally get to school around 7:15.
And from your house on 4H Lake Road to the school, how many minutes on a normal day would that be?
Probably 25 with school traffic.
Yeah, that'd actually be pretty good. So you left your house at 10 to 7, something like that? Would that be about the normal time you would do that?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. And on the 6th of February, 2019, which is the date your dad collapsed, your mom took you to school, correct?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay. Somehow you got there. You don't quite remember. That was a long time ago. But you don't remember when you got there, but you did get to school. Yes?
Yes.
And you returned on the bus, and it's about, you don't specifically remember that day, but it was about 2:45. Is that right?
Likely, yes.
Okay. When you got to your house, where was your dad physically at that time?
He was on the couch.
And your mom was there, and who else was there when you got home from school?
My mother and the Hamiltons,
Both Hamiltons.
John and Stephanie, yes.
Okay. And did they stay for the rest of the evening, or did they leave shortly after you got home?
I believe they were there for a little while, but I'm not entirely sure on the specifics.
Fair enough.
My ex-wife was the same age as me. I'm not a crib robber.
Who's Penny
A
Carico?
crib robber.
She's my aunt.
Did you call her that day and say, hey, we need some help?
I don't really remember that.
Okay. At some point, Penny Carico came to your house, correct?
Yes,
This is not designed in any way to embarrass you, but were you present when your dad lost control of his bladder? Or had that already happened by the time you got there?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Did you help change your dad's clothes or anything?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure.
That's fine. You indicated that about 4 o'clock they took your dad to the hospital. Is that what you remember?
That seems right, yes.
Okay. If there's some information that it was actually a couple hours later than that, would you dispute that?
I wasn't very concerned with the time during that time.
Sure. Did Chris Davis come over to your house before they took your dad to the hospital?
I remember him being there, but I don't remember what time.
Who took care of you and your brother when your folks went to the hospital that day?
I don't remember that day who took us specifically, but I remember while I was in the hospital, we stayed with both of my grandparents on different circumstances and my aunt, I believe.
Same one we were talking about, Ms. Carico?
Yes.
Were you present at your house when somebody decided we've got to take your dad to the hospital?
Yes.
Okay. And at that point, do you remember who else was in your house besides your mom and dad? You? Were the Hamiltons still there?
I remember many people were there, but I don't remember if they were still there or not.
Okay. You indicated Mr. Treadway was there.
I believe so, yes.
Were you actually present when your dad was taken to a car and they went to the hospital, or had you already left by then?
I think I was present.
Okay. Let's go back briefly to your dad's business, or what you describe as your dad's business. You know what his end of the was, but as far as you know, your mom had nothing to do with it. Is that what you understand?
Yes.
5 years ago, almost 6. No, it was February 2019. So yeah, almost 6 years ago.
And so if there were bunches of messages where your mom was telling people, here's what's going on with the business, here's when you're going to get paid, can you invest in this, can you invest, those types of, you would know nothing about that. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Can I have just a moment, please, Jordan?
Sure.
What's your grandma, or your mom's name?
Daphne?
What's her last name? I'm sorry.
Daphne Jessup.
Okay. Did she come over to your house that day while you were there?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you know if your mom communicated with her by phone or text or anything?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So if a message went from your mom to your grandma that said, Nick and I are enjoying a little girl couch time at about 4 o'clock that evening, you wouldn't know anything about that?
I'm not sure.
Do you remember enjoying some girl time with your mom at 4 o'clock on February the 6th, 2019?
We both sat with my father. Yes.
That's all the questions the state has. Thank you.
May confer with counsel.
Just the amount of pills. I'm not as well doing 27-year-old as I should. This is my morning routine. I have. This is just fish oil. Got some zinc in it, and I don't know. Should be good for sleeping. I live in the Nordics, so in the winter I do D vitamins, and then I take full spectra vitamin, and at night I take something that should help me fall asleep faster and sleep tighter, or get deeper sleep, because I don't sleep a lot when I'm streaming. I counted it. If I don't take any pain pills, I'm at 10 pills a day. So did she say 70? 40 or 70 pills? That's a lot.
Sure.
Yeah, but I don't eat enough. What do you call it? Greens to give me the D vitamin I need doing this. And I don't like fish. That's why I eat fish oil.
Thank you.
You can get it in some beef.
You can't get
In
the
2019,
can't get it
how
in
old were you?
beef.
Just give us some good math.
It's fish.
13, I believe.
On
Sun has
February the
come down for
6th,
today
when your father was
after 4 o'clock.
unconscious, I presume, or sleeping, or has already.
Yeah, I don't know how much these people are taking. Maybe I should. I think I've seen what the supplements are in either a Brian Shaw or an Eddie Hall video. Maybe I should go look at them. They should be on some of the same things.
Fell on the ground. Were you concerned about who was in the house?
Not really.
Were you concerned about your father?
Yes.
Now, prosecutor asked you about asking your dad about the contracts or what he was doing. Would you agree with me that your father sometimes paid less attention to you than your brother?
Yes.
Would you say that you were perhaps that you were starved for his attention,
Yes.
and you wanted his attention by asking him first what the heck he was doing, right?
Yes.
But he never really took the bait and never really talked to you about anything else other than giving you the answer, I'm working on the contracts, right?
Yes.
That's all.
Can I ask one more?
Sure, go ahead.
I should have asked you this before, and I'm sorry, but you indicated that your dad was his happiest when he was getting money. Wouldn't it be when he thought he was going to get some money?
That's what she said.
Can you restate the
Sure.
question?
You indicated
Get
that
money
your
or
dad was at
leaving
his
got
happiest
money.
when he was getting some money. Is that what you remember saying?
Yes.
Okay. Was he also happy when he thought he was going to be getting some money?
Yes.
That's all, Your Honor. Thank you.
He used her in the wrong way completely.
For a 13-year-old, did you understand the word investors?
Vaguely, I would say.
Did your father ever use that word, investors?
Yes.
What did he tell you about the investors, if you remember?
He would never say it to me directly, but he would just talk about paying the investors.
Paying the investor.
Yes.
Okay. And even though you're now a future accounting genius, did you understand what he meant by that?
I would say fairly well, yes.
Well, what did you understand by that? Then.
That there were individuals investing in the company and he needed to pay them back.
Okay. Did you ever see any documents that your father would show you? The company documents, the spreadsheets, anything that had to do with income and outlay of money.
I had seen him working on a spreadsheet, but I wasn't told what it was.
Okay. You don't remember the details, what was on those spreadsheets.
No, I wasn't allowed to really see a lot.
Why weren't you allowed to see?
We just didn't get along.
Your
Didn't
father,
get
your
along?
father wouldn't let you see what he was working on.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. That's all.
Anything further, Mr. Truman?
Nothing for the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, may this witness be excused?
So far as the state's concerned.
Yes, sir.
You may step down, Ms. Cochran. You are excused. Members of the jury, this is an opportune time for us to take our mid-morning break, and we will.
It is an opportune time to take our mid-morning break, so that's what we're going to do. Jamie, see you later. I'm going to go grab a
Bye.
cup of coffee, go get a chicken McNuggets at the Chicken Fill, and we'll be right back.
Oh my goodness. I am gonna make some breakfast, so.
I don't know. They got in what they wanted to get in. That her dad was the only one working on the business. He was the one who wanted the mom to skip her job and come home and work. It seemed a little rehearsed to me, but it could also be she's just very scared. I don't put much in the, does it take her half a second too fast or too slow to answer? You don't know her regular way of being, and she's probably, I think it's with a French word, it's called shitting bricks, sitting up there. Her mom's understand. He could help bury her. So I don't put much in that. It's the same. I don't put anything into the mom smiling and stuff like that. That's probably to try and comfort her while she's sitting there. It's us looking for all these telltale signs that we don't know anything about, because we don't know if that mom has a weird face tick that makes her look like she smiles. I don't think she was 100% great. To me, it just seemed like, oh, she's here to say these things. We didn't get along, my dad and I. Well, he took you to Paris. I don't know. I didn't find her super convincing.
Well, yeah, because I mean, put yourself in her shoes. You're on a witness stand testifying for your mom, who could be put away for life because
Yeah.
they're saying that she killed your father. It's like, how is somebody supposed to act?
Well, something is so funny. At least she has experience in the Ponzi scheme. She did good. This is hard. It's nerve-wracking. Yeah, but I don't think that she was asked the right questions. And I didn't like the way the Penguin started out. I don't blame her for the performance. I blame him. To me, it seems like he doesn't know how to turn it off. That's one of the things with Jamie's favorite defense attorney, Rose Capiccio. She will yell at a witness if they don't answer her, but she also knows, okay, now I have to put on the kid gloves. I have to be good, be nice, try to help people through this. And I think his antiquated way of speaking English and his temper made it more, what the F is going on here?
Yeah. Yeah, you know how you have to know how to finesse it,
Yeah.
and
Uh,
but he doesn't. He just like his way, his mannerisms make him seem like a lot better.
And yes, the state was way better with her than the Penguin was, because why are you antagonizing your own witnesses? And her testimony didn't add anything. Well, they need her to talk about the roids. They need someone to get the roids in the house. It's had been an integral part of the defense, so we need some proof of this roid. I would just have a website printout where it says he ordered 45 vials of insulin and D-ball. That's, I don't need the kids to say, well, he was sitting with a plate. And maybe, just maybe, your defense lawyer should know what he's talking about. because I bet you if he saw this is zinc, magnesium, and B vitamin, it's apparently something that's good to take when you're a little bit older because it helps stabilize your testosterone and help you sleep better, which also help you with a lot of other stuff. But because it's in this shiny bottle to make everyone buy it because, oh, look how good it looks, I bet you he would believe this could be an illegal drug. My mom, when my oldest brother used to be pretty much into the bodybuilding scene back in the day, and when she saw the containers of whey protein, because they looked and had explosive growth and all of that, she thought it was steroids. But they just put it in those containers because then people think it works better. And but someone who's not in that environment, who doesn't know what it is, could believe, oh, what's that? Oh, it must be roids. No, it's just whey protein. It's just so you don't have to eat as much meat. So there's if you want to go down the roid road, you don't ask about if he had his roids on his dinner plate, because you don't. You could probably, I think D-bol you can get in pill form, maybe some Anavar, but roids normally are injected because it'll be absorbed. Your digestive tract is a really bad place to put stuff like that because it's not something that the body will absorb. It's way better to just jam it into your tissue. Hey, Krista. Maybe she wanted to testify, but it's you as a defense team that puts on who goes on the stand. Even if she wanted to do, you say, well, no, thank you. The rumor is she is doing it. That's what I glean on the twits. That's what Katie Russo said. Someone said it yesterday. I think she shouldn't.
I honestly believe that if he's going to put the kids up there, he needs to have the kids testify to like just the relationship, how things were, and like just show that like, okay, yeah, she loved him and they had a good relationship. Or if they didn't, put that up there too. So
it could be that she's blaming all of it on her dad because when he died, the money went away, and it's easier to feel bad about the one who's not here than the mom who's here that you can still have a relationship with. Maybe that's a mechanism. I feel like with she felt neglected by dad question, the defense threw her testimony out the window. Yeah, she said he had protein powder, but the penguin doesn't understand supplements. He thinks all supplements are PEDs. I bet you if I showed him my top of creatine, he would say, "Oh, those are for your physique. You like working on your physique? You take illegal substance." No, I just take some creatine because it's good for you. And but he doesn't understand, and he want to go into an angle where it's because of roid rage and it's because of misuse supplements. Then he should educate himself on supplements. I bet you right now, as a guy who never did any, well, I did some thermal power back in the day when we thought we could lose weight, and we found out it was amphetamines after. Well, not methamphetamines, just amphetamines. But that's the only thing I've ever done, and I could tell you more about what illegal substances men in that world use than this guy, and he has an entire case based on it, and that's bad lawyering. Yeah, I want to have that receipt. Well, that's my job. Just a little meth. Well, I didn't use that for training, so I never used any. I'm 100% natural. Were you bouncing off the walls? No. I didn't feel you could work harder, you can work longer. I didn't. Maybe I'm using it wrong. Maybe I don't. But that's the same thing. I don't need uppers when everyone else right now is. Oh man, you should use some of the Colombia's finest. I don't need it. I can still go out, even though I turned 27. Go out and drink till 5 in the morning, and I'll be fine. I don't need something to quick to make my mind go faster. I never understood uppers. I like drinking. It puts me in a state I like to be in. I liked it a little bit too much when I was younger, but I never understood people who wanted to taste the colors, dance to the rain and stuff like that. I never understood those people, and especially people who start doing it in their 40s. It's just you do like everyone else. Get a young girlfriend. Get a convertible. Don't start doing drugs. It's nothing. I learned from my friend Roger. Meth is fine. It's the weed you have to watch out for.
Okay. Do you remember any description as far as the size of these men?
Yeah, I remember the size of them. I know I could tell by the Swazer who the one was, by meeting him different times up there at Paula's. I knew Swazer is, get that word right, Swazer?
Okay. I don't know what that word means, so I'm sorry.
Oh, his style, his
Oh,
walk, his talk.
okay.
He told me that as long as you stay away from the devil's letters, you'll be fine. New motion in the Karen Reed case. Oh, interesting. Yeah, but I don't want to drink forever, and I want to feel the sensation I get when I'm drunk. I don't know why, and I want to go home to sleep. I don't want to be there at 7 in the morning looking up and thinking, well, my body is still in party mode and everything's closed. I want to go out, have a fun time, go to bed, get to sleep, wake up with a minimum of hangover the next day. I don't need a 3-day bender. People are high in Swasia today. Krista's not that high. And in meanness. Yeah, that's, again, I don't understand it.
I don't either.
I could visit Brussels, Paris, and Berlin in 3 days. I could, but I've been to Brussels, I've been to Paris. I'd like to go back to Brussels, but Paris I don't care for. Berlin, it's kind of a thing. Everyone is, oh man, I'm going to Berlin on the weekend, man. It's such a cool town, man. It's German. Cool stuff in German is ice, which is a candy with a little bit of, it feels cold when you bite into it. Rest of Germany, not that cool. Yeah, that's just a counterproductive. Maybe you and Nightbot are enemies as well. Yeah, I'll. Some of the beer good. I like. I had a cousin who lived in Bremen, and we went down there, and because in the summertime, I like to drink non-alcoholic beers because I like the refreshment of it. But maybe if I'm streaming, I don't need to be drunk. And they have some great. Germany has great non-alcoholic beers. They're really fond of shandies. I don't understand that. Beer and lemon together is weird. Oh, I think that's her mom. I saw some beautiful things in Germany. My first girlfriend was German, so yeah, I've seen some beautiful things down there too. How about Belgian ale? It's good. You do shandies as well in England? I'm not a big fan. It's like a summer beer over here. People they drink it in the summer. No, because she's a witness, so she hasn't been in the courtroom. This lady with the two-toned hair has been there, I believe, the entire time. And I think the redhead was there yesterday as well.
The redhead's been here the whole time.
Was it the redhead who was there the whole time?
Yeah, because everyone thought it was the daughter. But yeah, the stripy haired girl just showed up like the other day, I think. Well, at least on camera that I've seen.
Yeah, and as long as it tastes good, because we had some Danish beer called what the hell? I drank them back in the day when I had to cut back because Daddy got a little too fond of beers, and they were horrible. So I stopped drinking them and just drank sodas instead. But now you can get really good non-alcoholic beer. Of course you do. A beer that you have to eat with a spoon is what the Swedes want. Probably like elephant beer too.
All right, do we have any matters to take up at this time out of the presence of the jury?
Your Honor, based upon our off-the-record discussion in the court's office, the state was under the impression that they were going to try and move Dr. Dragovich's testimony from tomorrow to Monday. That's the
I
state's
didn't want to
understanding?
alert the jury to that fact right away.
That's all.
I did not want a mutiny on our hands.
Oh, so they're going to bring a lot of witnesses.
So we're going to wait and see what happens. We might have Stanley Selden appear suddenly this afternoon, and he may have different ideas.
Thank you.
We'll see what develops. And we still have a lot of witnesses to cover today. We may run over till tomorrow. I've learned never to anticipate. All right, anything else?
That's for the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
No, Your Honor.
Bring in the jury.
Oh boy.
See, lemon brew, weirdos, Germans.
There's a chocolate porter. Lemon brew? I don't know. I try it. I like citrusy beer sometimes.
You can get it with non-alcohol in as well.
Oh, well, that's no fun.
No, but sometimes it's good when you stream. Jamie, I know you can't contain yourself without at least a couple of shots in you, but some of us can't do it.
All right, we continue with the defendant's case. You may call your next witness, Mr. Victor.
I'd like to call Penny Carico.
Penny Carico? What a fun
I don't
name.
know. Frankfurter Apfelwein. Well, an apple wine isn't really a beer, is it?
I mean,
Twice.
I don't know what you consider it.
Oh,
Stab
Penny,
his head.
she is.
If you'll raise your right hand,
She's in the
please.
HOA.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth,
She's
and nothing
in
but
the
the truth, so
HOA.
help you God?
I do.
You may have a seat there. All right, Mr. Victor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Penny Lowry.
All right. That's what I was going to ask you. Were you known at some point as Penny Carico?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're one and the same person.
Yes,
Okay. Lowry is your married name, ma'am?
it is.
Okay. I want to ask you whether you know the defendant, Natalie Cochran.
I do.
How do you know Natalie?
I'm her older sister.
Then
What
I
if you
presume you
wanted
know
to have-
her late husband,
She's-
or you knew her late husband, Michael Cochran.
Absolutely, yes.
I'm just gonna
Wait,
put my.
this is
And
Natalie's
their children.
older sister?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't get it either, Jamie.
How well did you know Penny? Penny. Just how long did you know Natalie?
Oh, I mean, she's, my whole life. I was 12 years old, I think, when she was born.
Okay. She is Natalie
I'm
Pace,
sorry.
Correct.
and you're Penny.
Yes.
All right.
This question sometimes.
Did you maintain very close contact with Natalie and her family? throughout
Yes.
your life?
Yes.
Did you socialize other than in family settings?
Yes.
What would you do?
They've been on vacation with me before. I mean, we'd do dinners, we'd go to their house, we'd been at the beach, things like that.
Yes,
Normal
Marissa, but
family things,
Oh, yes, absolutely.
and then
I can understand
additional
if maybe they're strange,
vacations,
but it was just a funny
outings,
question.
Yes.
going out.
My daughter went a lot of places with them.
Okay. Let me cut to the chase. Did you know that Michael Cochran was using any substances?
Yes.
What was using? What kind of substances was he using?
I don't really know what they were, but he had a lot of things in cabinets and on the counter and stuff. He took stuff. I usually saw him take them in the mornings when I was there.
What was he using those substances for?
To be buffer, bigger, to be stronger.
Why did he want to be stronger or buffer?
He just wanted to. He fought in tough man contests, and that's just the way he liked to be. But he fought in the tough man contest and things like that.
Did he care about his physical appearance?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And was he trying to be an athlete? Is that what it was?
I don't know so much an athlete as he just wanted to look that way.
How about a bodybuilder?
I don't know if I would call it that. He wanted his body to look that way, but I don't know that he wanted to be a bodybuilder. But he did like fighting, like kickboxing, things like that.
Okay. How long did you observe Michael Cochran take all these substances?
Years. It'd been years since I've known, since they were together.
Have you ever been able to determine what these substances were?
No, sir. I never asked him. I would just say, please stop. And he'd just, laugh at me.
How frequently did you observe Michael and these substances?
I've known him. I guess known him since they've been together, since, they were in high school. So it was often, but I don't really have an amount of time, but it was several times.
How many pills? Pills were those pills that he was taking?
Pills, and I remember him doing mixing a bunch of stuff to drink and powders and things along those lines.
Did he also inject anything?
I only saw that one time, and they were at the beach with us. And I came out of my bedroom, and he was in the kitchen. And I can remember the kids they were young enough, they slept together on the sofa bed. And I was sitting on their bed and he was in the kitchen. I saw him do an injection.
Did you ever see him take insulin?
I don't know what he took.
Okay.
I mean, if that was one of the things I wouldn't know. I didn't know the names of any of this stuff.
Okay. Whatever was he telling you about all these substances?
He really never told me anything. I said, you please stop that. You've got to stop that. It's not good for you. And he would just, he would always just laugh and, say, oh, you're retarded, Penny. It's okay. Or, and one time I told my nephew, I said, please don't ever do that, what your dad's doing. And he would laugh at me. I mean, he wanted to be strong.
Okay. How many pills at a time?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, you said that he laid out something on.
Yeah, well, he had a whole counter full of stuff and a cabinet. And I mean, there was a lot. I don't know how much he took at once or, I mean, I just saw the times that I was there. Usually when I saw him was in the mornings.
Do you know where these pills came from?
I do not.
Okay. Did you ever see any packages delivered to their house or?
I've seen packages delivered to their house, but I couldn't tell you what were in them.
Then you don't know whether these were the pills or any supplement.
No.
Okay. Now, I want to ask you whether you observe Michael's health over the last, say, 3 years of his life.
Have I observed it?
Have you observed his demeanor, his health, his general appearance?
Yes.
Well, tell the jury about it. Starting, say, in 2017, when he had, well, I understand he had a back surgery.
A back surgery?
Right.
I don't really recall that. I know that there was a time he got really sick and we thought it might be mold because he'd worked under the house. They have an older house and he'd worked in some old houses. And he would tell me that he was just dizzy and felt foggy all the time or that he just couldn't think. And then the same way I observed him during, when he passed away, he had done that before and I had seen him in the hospital. I mean, he would throw up and what I thought, I would just be speculating, but I thought looked more like seizure activity.
Okay. Did you ever see him on these occasions that you mentioned when he went to the hospital? I presume that was in October and November 2018.
I can't remember the dates, but I think so, yes.
And then in February of 2019.
Yes.
Did you ever see him sick on any other occasions?
Not anything that was abnormal. He was sick or he would say he felt bad but typically what I would consider myself sick, he would have days that he would be throwing up or things like that. But the main occasion was that one in October and November.
Did his health improve or did it get worse?
It got worse.
Tell us about, say, right before he went to the hospital in November of 2018. What did you observe of him?
Just that I really thought something was wrong with their house because the kids even had like a lot of runny noses and stuff. But he would just say, he couldn't think clear. He wouldn't remember things. And I'd say, what do you remember? I would say, I don't know. We'd be talking about something. I'd say, well, it's this. He said, well, I couldn't think of it. Or, and I just, he just seemed different. He would get angrier and we just thought he had a lot of mold poisoning.
When he came out of the hospital in November 2018, what was he like? How did he act?
He came through and he seemed like he was going to be fine. He was like he was before. He was just himself. The same way. He was still foggy and I told him, I said, you've got to quit taking this stuff.
Okay. And and what was his response? Retarded Penny? Is that what he said?
No, not that time. He had before. He'd always laugh at me and
Hey, you can't say that on YouTube.
just say, "Oh, Penny," And he I don't even remember what he said that time because I'd say it to him a lot. I'd say, "You've got to stop," and I didn't want Ashton, his son, to start that habit of.
Let's use the initials for the son. Well, did he ever Well, when he came out of the hospital, did he express his liking or disliking hospitals?
He was mad. He told me, he said, if you ever do that to me again, if any of you all ever do that to me again, he said, I will be furious with you. I'll never forgive you. He said, I do not want to wake up again in a hospital.
Okay. Did you ever observe him work on any contracts or anything in his business? Do you have any knowledge of that?
I mean, I knew they did contracts. I didn't see him like sitting at a desk working on them, but we had talked about them some.
Well, what did he tell you about his work?
The conversations that I can remember with him, I remember one time we were at his son's football practice, and I was a principal of a school at a time, and I said, if things keep going well, would you consider donating some, he liked, physical activity. I said, would you consider donating some stuff to my school? And he said, yeah. He said, why don't you do some of these too? He said, there's a lot of educational ones we can help you find, and you can work on them as well. And there were a few times he had signed checks to give to me that when they owed me money.
Did he ever tell you anything about being a gun dealer?
I don't know that he told me, but I knew they were.
Well, what did he tell you?
I don't know how I knew or if he told me, but I just know they had gotten the license to deal with arms, and then they started that business. Well, they bought a location, and then they started fixing that up for, I think he called it Tactical Solutions.
Did he ever tell you that he sold many guns to the government?
I don't recall if he told me that.
Okay.
Don't ask questions you don't want answers to.
Did he ever tell you that he dealt with the government?
Yes.
And what do you recall him saying?
Just that they were doing government contracts, that was, that's what they were doing now, and that was their job, basically. He just told me that's what they were doing.
Okay. Tell us about, did you know anything about their financial situation?
What do you mean exactly?
How did they live? Did they live modestly? Did they live in luxury? How did they live?
I would say between modest and luxury. I wouldn't call it luxurious, but they lived, I felt, better than I did. But,
okay.
They got to do a lot of things. They had a nice home. They had nice vehicles. I didn't know their financial status per se. I never asked, but they lived well.
Well, they buying any boats or anything like that? Do you know anything about that?
They were going to. I think they looked at a boat or were going to buy a boat. I'm not sure if they ended up doing that, but they were buying some things, yes.
He had plenty of motorcycles, from what I remember.
I remember one motorcycle. I don't know how many he had. And he had a sports car and a truck.
How about did they buy any other properties?
Well, they bought the business. I think it was I call it Eisenhower. They bought a building there. I think they had, best I can remember, they bought a home that they were renting to someone, and then they were looking to buy a house at Flat Top Lake, but I don't think they ever did.
How about there was some talk about helicopters and hangars. What was that all about?
I don't recall the details, but I just know he was going to, I think they had a hangar. He was going to buy a helicopter. They were looking at it with his friend, best that I can recall. I didn't talk in depth about that. That stuff didn't matter to me.
Wouldn't it be fair to say that they lived really well?
Yes, yeah. They had more than I had.
Michael was a generous person, wasn't he?
Yes.
He would take people out.
All the time.
He would pay.
There was only one time he ever let us pay. He always paid for our meals every time. Like I said, he took us out a lot, but they did a lot for my daughter. Like he would take her places with the kids.
Where would he go with them?
Oh, he ate out at Chili's almost every day. Like he took her on they took her to Disney World. He ate out every day. So
And he paid for that?
Yes.
Took your daughter to Disney World?
Well, the family did, yes.
The whole family?
Their family, yes, took my daughter, yes.
And he paid for it?
Yes.
Okay. You know that they went to Paris, France,
Yes,
and
yes.
they went to Hawaii. They went to other places.
I don't remember Hawaii, but I do remember Paris. Yes.
Where else did they go?
Jamie, can I tell you a secret?
Sure, it's just me and you.
Yeah. Do you know I was in the States of America last year?
You were?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Do you know? I think the White Rabbit and the expert might be running a Ponzi scheme.
Oh gosh.
They paid for a lot of my stuff when I was there because my credit card kept being declined at Dollywood, so the White Rabbit paid for it, and she didn't ask for the money back. Do you think she's running a Ponzi scheme?
I think she might be. I wonder what it could be.
The expert got me Chick-fil-A.
Uh-oh.
And even though he claims I ate his cronuts, I never had one. I ate one of those donut holes. Didn't like it. Do you know who else I think is running a Ponzi scheme?
Who?
Valhalla.
I know you're going to say that. I've been thinking that for a long time.
Yeah, I didn't buy one beer. Well, that's not true. I bought 2 beers at the venue on the Friday night. The rest of the beer I drank was sponsored by Valhalla. I'm thinking those goats is a
Those
Ponzi
goats
scheme.
are a front. They're a front.
That's I think we just got to the bottom of that because people who pay for other people runs a Ponzi scheme. Every American I've ever went out to dinner with said, no, let me pay. You're our guest. It's never, well,
Polite.
yeah, that's it. It's just, well, he always picked up the check. Yeah, you were a school principal. And if he had cash and rolly, he probably thought I have more than she has and let me be nice to my wife's family. So, no, Little D didn't buy me Taco Bell. I bought Little D Taco Bell.
Chili's is delicious. If somebody took me to Chili's, I'd be happy.
Yeah. I need to find out what my friends are doing behind the scenes. They travel every year on a budget, but maybe I'm wrong. This is stupid. Oh, yeah, I'm going traveling again this year. I'll buy you all the beer you want. Well, I still have to get to Seattle before we can get the beer. Yeah, can we do a Ponzi for pennies?
Yeah.
Oh, on vacations.
They'd go to the beach a lot.
Which beach?
I just remember Myrtle.
Myrtle.
Yeah, they went with
I
us.
disagree, Zach. I disagree.
And who funded that? Who paid for all of that?
You are in
Well,
Washington
at
State.
the times that I remember, my family rented a condo in the summer because I'm an educator and I was off at that time. And they would come stay with us, but he paid for like lots of our meals and to do things.
Okay.
And that was some time ago. It was
Okay.
when the kids were really little.
Okay. Then did Michael have his own medicine cabinet?
Chili skillet queso. So a cheese skillet. I don't know.
In the house
I don't know.
that you remember?
I haven't had
I don't know
that.
I don't know if it was like I call it his own, but it was the cabinet with all of his stuff, and I can remember it kind of being in the corner because I was hunting for a glass, and there was all kinds of stuff in there that was his, and yeah, I mean, I just knew it was his stuff.
What was Michael's profession as such?
The only thing that I remember him being an IT guy for a little while for Job Force, but that's all I recall.
That's that IT. I hear that IT. What does that mean, really?
I think he helped with their technology if they needed like wiring or.
She's
that was my understanding. I
she's the defendant's big sister.
didn't talk too much about what he did.
What did he do for the businesses that he had with Natalie?
I'm not sure what all he did.
Okay. Now, when you in February of 2019, what did Michael look like and what did he act like? What was his appearance like? Tell us about what you saw.
I mean, just thinking back, I don't know how often I saw him that month or what. I mean, he looked like he had done in the past. Do you mean before the day that he had, he passed away? Yeah, he seemed the same as I was used to. He was very angry. And I just remember he wrote me a check that they owed me some money, and he said, I'm leaving it at the front door. Like he didn't want me to come in or see him. And I don't know. He was just mad because I'd asked for my money.
Was he confused?
I don't know. I couldn't say.
Did he complain of any headaches?
Yes. Yeah, he did. He did a lot. I mean, even way before February.
What did he tell you about his headaches?
Nothing. They just said, he would take aspirin and stuff because he had headaches. But I'm a migraine sufferer. His son is as well. So I didn't think much about anything. He had a headache. And then again, when it got really bad, we thought it was where he was working on this house. And I think he was up underneath it and stuff in the crawl space. We thought maybe mold or something had gone into his lungs causing that.
You've never seen his medical records, have you?
No.
And in February, February 6th, you actually went to the Cochran's house.
That was the day. Yes, I did.
Well, Michael supposedly collapsed.
Yes, I did.
And what did you observe?
Well, I got a call. My niece called me around. I was at work and school was out. Like all the kids were gone. She called and said, Mom needs some help. Can you come over? And then I went and I helped her get him. He kind of slumped off the couch and I helped her get him back on. And she was going to clean him up. He had an accident. And Nikki went to get his clothes and I helped her with that. And that was around 4:00.
Who was at the house at that time, from your observation?
Nikki and their son, Natalie and myself.
Anybody else who came later?
Later that evening, yes.
Who came later?
She called me around. We were on our way to go out and eat, and I was in the car, and she had called and said, I'm taking him to the hospital. Can you please come get the kids? And it was dark, but it was February, so it was around 6:00 or so, because I remember trying to call my mom, and they're always at church. And so I said, yeah, I'll come get the kids. And when I went there, I think I was the first one in there. And then Thomas and Lacey Treadway came in. And then the last people in, Chris Davis and his son, followed in after that.
Okay. Were you, at least you, aware of the fact that Michael Cochran didn't want to go to the hospital?
Oh, yeah.
He expressed that
Yes.
view exactly to you? He expressed
everybody, yes, to all of his.
And Natalie was present when he...
Yes. When the first episode happened, he told all of us, yes.
All right, if I may have a second.
Certainly.
So she was at the house, she took the kids. What, if any?
That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Okay, cross-examination, Mr. Truman.
Thank you. You work for the Raleigh County Board of Education?
I do.
And in 2019, what was your job?
At that time, I was a principal.
Where?
Shady Spring Elementary.
Okay. And your current position is what?
I'm the assistant superintendent.
Oh, okay. You were an investor in the defendant's company?
I was.
You lose some money?
I did.
About how much did you lose?
She was my sister, so I didn't really keep records. I mean, I didn't consider it more of it was a business deal, but I just thought she could, it would help me out. So, but when everything was said and done, I felt like it was around $50,000.
Okay. Did you ever get any of it back?
Well, that's what I ended up, I think, not having. So like I would give some, and I'd get some, give some, and get some. And then when it all ended, I think I was $50,000 around.
$50,000. Okay. Do you know how much you put in altogether?
No. Like I said, it was just, yeah, I'll go ahead and put me in for this contract. And then I would say, here's some more. I don't really recall. I really don't.
Were your dealings with Michael on these transactions?
Natalie with the money.
Okay. So she controlled all the money for the company, and according to your niece, he was at his computer doing whatever he did with government contracts. But the money side of it was your sister.
He wrote me some checks. Like he would write them and sign them. But as far as like me saying, I want to give for this contract, I dealt with her.
Okay. You got a call. The first call you got was from your niece?
Yes.
Saying we need help?
Yes.
That was after school, and you were at Shady Elementary?
Yes.
Okay. Which is how far from the Cochran house, roughly?
About 6 minutes, maybe.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's very close.
And you went the first time to the Cochran house that day by yourself?
I did.
Okay. You indicated that Michael was on the floor? Actually, this may not be fair, but was Michael on the floor in front of the couch or next to a couch?
No, he was on the couch. He was kind of, his leg and arm were off of it, and his head was kind of on the couch part. So I helped her get him up on the couch comfortably, his head on the pillow and his arm, everything up on the couch. And I kind of held a blanket, and Nikki got him some clothes. She cleaned him up. Natalie cleaned him up.
You got me a little bit confused there. Nikki got some clothes and the defendant cleaned him up?
Yes. So she said, Nikki, run and get him some clean pants. And I kind of held a blanket there, and I just held that while she did that. Okay.
So did you participate other than holding the blanket up over Michael?
No, I really didn't do that. To be honest, the son kept saying, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. He kept aggravating her the whole time. And she said, stop, I'm trying to deal with this. I said, why don't you just let me deal with him? And I don't recall if I took him or if I went, but I think I took him to get food and brought him back.
Okay. Now, before Nikki called you, you had heard from the defendant, correct?
I had.
How did she communicate with you?
She texted me.
And she sent you this picture, correct?
She did.
What was your reaction to seeing that picture for the first time?
She sent it, and she sent a text that said something like, he's sick and won't get up, or something along. I just remember thinking, I know it sounds terrible, but I was really busy. There was kids and stuff all in my office, and I remember thinking, what does she mean he won't get up? And I thought, well, what does she want me to do?
Okay.
You know.
Then by the time Nikki called, that was 2 hours later?
Oh, more than that, probably.
More than that, because your school had been dismissed for the day.
Yes.
And what time would that be?
It was around 4. I was working at my desk, and she texted me, and I remember, I think my secretary was still there because I said, I've got to go. Natalie needs me. And that's the best I can recall. I remember I was at my desk and Nikki called me.
When you got to the Cochran house in answer to Nikki's call to you, tell us what you remember about what you saw.
Well, like I said, when I went in, he was on the couch, but he was kind of slumped over it. And I helped her get him on the couch comfortably. He was snoring and making noises. And I thought the same thing I thought the first time I saw him in the hospital in November, whenever that was, that he had another seizure and that he was going to be coming up out of that. So I helped her. He had an accident. So, I helped her get him up there, fixed on the couch. And she said, Nikki, go get him some clothes. I kind of put a blanket over him. And then that's all that happened on that time.
Okay. When you saw him in the hospital, was he?
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I missed questions about this exhibit.
I'm sorry.
All right. Then we need to identify that exhibit for the purpose of the record, please.
It's attached to a text. I cannot tell you off the top of my head. If you give us a moment, we can.
Okay, maybe Ms. Acord can track it down.
Yeah, don't ask questions to an exhibit if you don't show the exhibit.
Can I go on with the exam?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. You get to the house. You've described what actions you took to help your sister with her distressed husband. But my question to you goes to when he was in the hospital. You went to Charleston to see the Cochrans?
Yes, sir.
Was Michael sedated while he was in there, to the best of your knowledge?
I do not know.
Okay, but you just know he was not awake.
Correct.
On the 19th of February of 6th of February 2019, when you got to the Cochran's house, was Michael ever in a position where you heard him converse with anybody?
No.
Did you hear him converse with anybody either time you were there?
No.
Now, you came back at the request of the defendant to pick up the kids?
Yes.
And that's because what?
She called me, and we were on our way to dinner, and she called me. I was in the car, and she said, I'm going to take him to the hospital. I've called Chris and Thomas to come help. Can you come get the kids?
Okay. When you came to pick up the kids, who was present at the house at that time?
I think it was just me at the time. My husband stayed in the car, we weren't married at the time, but I can't remember if Thomas and Lacey had gotten there yet or not. I think it was just me, but I know Chris and his son came in last.
Okay.
So I can't recall if they were there before me or me. It's been a long time.
So to the best of your recollection, the defendant was there, Michael was there, the 2 kids were there.
Yes.
But Mr. Treadway showed up after you got there?
I don't recall.
Okay.
He might have been there when I got there. I remember him and his wife were there, but I can't recall. I just remember Chris came in after I was there because I saw him and his son come in through the door.
And the Treadways might have been there, or they might have come in.
Yeah, I don't
Fair
recall.
enough.
He was there first, me or then.
Fair enough. The decision to actually take Michael to the hospital, when did that come about?
I don't know. Like I said, she called me and said, I'm taking him to the hospital. I've called Chris and Thomas to help. Can you come get the kids? And then we were all there. And I remember saying, he is going to be so mad at us. And but we all said, well, we have to take him. So.
Did you express an opinion as to whether he should go to the hospital, notwithstanding his prior reservations about that?
Say that again.
Sure. Did you express an opinion as to whether he should go to the hospital despite his statements that I don't want to go back again?
Not until everybody was in there. We were all in there, and we were all talking, and we were all talking, and everyone was talking about how mad he was going to be, and I remember saying, well, we still need to take him, and then I remember Chris saying yes, and then I went and got my now husband we helped get him in the car.
So who actually, to the best of your recollection, helped to take Michael to the car?
Chris, Thomas, and my now husband Mario.
Okay. Whose car did they take Michael to?
Natalie's.
And who was driving the car or were you present when the car drove off?
I was not.
You went back inside, or?
No, I was going to take the kids with me, and they wanted to go with Thomas and Lacey because they have kids their age. And I said, well, we just left because we felt like our job was done there.
Okay, so you didn't end up with the kids that night?
No, I did not.
So
We left after he was in the car, but I don't know who ended up going or.
Okay. Were you? Did you see Michael in the car?
Yes,
Where was he?
in the very back. And
And
they laid him across it's a long SUV, and they laid him across in the back.
Who else? Did you see anybody else in the car?
No.
So you didn't see your sister, you didn't see Chris?
No one was in the car when I left.
Just Michael. Can I have just a moment, please?
Sure.
I believe the state has any additional questions. Thank you.
All right, redirect Mr. Victor.
Do you recall in August 2018 when Michael Cochran brought Natalie to your school and told you that he wanted you to deal with him from that moment on?
Yes.
That was in August of 2018.
I can't recall the date.
Okay. But he told you that he wanted for you to deal with him in the matters of business,
Yes.
with him only.
Yes.
Okay. You lost almost 50 grand on this.
That's what I think. Yeah. When I was all said and done.
And you should be really, really mad at your sister.
Yeah.
And I presume Michael, but he's not with us.
Right.
I think it's the glasses.
And yet it did not color your testimony here today.
No.
Did it? Okay. That's all. Thank you.
I have one follow-up, Your
Go
Honor.
right
and
ahead.
it should have been asked on cross, but
Okay.
it wasn't. What did the defendant tell you actually happened to Michael that day?
we never really talked about that except in the text. She just said he was sick, and she sent me the picture and said he was sick and he wouldn't get up. I just remember however it was worded. I thought, well, why won't he get up? I didn't know if he couldn't, he wouldn't. That's all I remember, that she said he was sick.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Well, but at some point, didn't she tell you what happened to him?
Not that I can recall.
Okay, do you remember being interviewed July 16th of 2019 by a couple of police officers?
I probably was, yeah. I mean, I remember being interviewed. I don't know when it was.
Okay. And at that time, you indicated that the defendant told you that he threw up, hit his head, and seized.
She told me I recall the throwing up the first time this happened in October and November. She told me that he hit his head much later after he had been in the hospital in February. She said he had hit his head on the counter when he fell.
And we're talking now about February 6th.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
But the throwing up, I can only recall, like I said, it's been a long time, but I remember he was throwing up a lot during the October, November time, even in the car.
And you've indicated in questioning from the defense that you have no idea what supplements Michael was taking.
No.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all the questions the state has.
Did you ever see any dent on the counter in the kitchen of Mr. and Mrs. Cochran?
There was it wasn't a dent because it was like corian or something, but there was a divot knocked out of it. Yes.
And that's what
A divot.
Natalie told you, that's where he hit his head,
Yes.
and there was a dent on it.
Yes.
I may have a second.
All right.
Is it 6, I think.
I think that's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Judge, to clear up the record, I think that picture is in State's Exhibit 6.
All right, thank you. Any further questions of the witness, Mr. Truman?
Not for the state. Right?
That's very
May this
loose.
witness be excused.
So far as the state's concerned, yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Lowry. You may step down. You are excused.
Yeah, and we know from was it the contractor or the lawyer who said, I looked at his face, I was looking up his nose, I was looking at his forehead to see if there was any indication that he had hit his head, and I didn't see any. So, yeah.
The nurse said that too, the nurse practitioner lady.
Oh, maybe it was her.
Well, I think 2 of them did, but I'm pretty sure she said that she didn't see anything either. So
I think she said, I looked and couldn't see anything on the face, and I think it was the lawyer who said, I looked up his nose because I thought, that's weird.
yeah.
So, I knew someone who had a heart attack, arrest, and smacked his head on the counter on the way down. Really complicated things. Yeah. But in this case, there's no indications that he had hit his head. Well, not visible, apparently. But it could go with the brain swelling.
Mm-hmm.
Call your next witness, please, Mr. Victor.
I will call Thomas Treadway. Would you kindly state your name for the record?
Thomas Treadway.
Mr. Treadway, what do you do for a living?
I'm a freelance graphic designer.
Okay. Do you know Natalie Cochran?
Yes, I do.
How do you know her?
We met through youth sports. Our kids are friends.
Okay. Did you know Michael Cochran?
Yes, I did.
How did you know Michael Cochran?
Through youth sports.
Was there a time that you would get involved in Mr. Cochran's Mr. and Mrs. Cochran's business?
Yes.
What was the initial involvement that you had with that business?
They would contact me. Mike would contact me about doing graphics, designs, signs.
For what? For the business?
I actually did the sign at TSG. Out on
TSG?
Eisenhower Drive.
Was he satisfied with your product?
Yes, he was.
And from there on, I presume the discussion concerned your investment in the business, right?
Yes.
And in fact, it ended up and culminated in your investing a substantial amount of money.
Yes.
Would you kindly share with the jury how much you may have invested in that business?
I do not have that information. I would have to go through my CPA to get that.
But it was a significant amount.
Yeah.
Who did you deal with in terms of the investments?
Mike.
What did he tell you that what you were investing in? I mean, obviously there wasn't like give us X number of dollars and invest in something. What did he tell you about the investments?
It was for contracts for graphics, mostly.
For contracts for what?
For graphics.
Graphics.
Did
And were there any
what?
government contracts as well?
Yes.
What else were you investing in?
Mainly that.
Okay. Was there any great promise of great returns?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. And you actually, I presume you wrote the checks to the companies, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Through your contact with Mr. Cochran, you kind of learned to know him quite well, right?
Yes.
How well did you know him?
He was my son's favorite coach.
Okay. He was good at sports, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
He was a bodybuilder, wasn't he?
He was very athletic.
Now I'm just
Kaufman
thinking,
competitions.
Mr. Penguin
Yes.
just thinks everybody that
hammer.
works out is a bodybuilder.
As I said,
It's
he
starting
doesn't know the difference between a strongman, a bodybuilder, and a Spartan athlete, and it's three very distinct, different training types you use for it. One of them is more HIIT, one of them is training to failure all the time, and one of them is maximum power as little as possible. It's very, very different how you train for stuff like that. And truck pulling isn't a bodybuilder thing, because bodybuilders have big muscles, but they're not strong. Strongmen are fat, but they are really strong. They don't have visible muscles. It's very different training. I think he just liked to. He had a good physique. Yeah.
I mean, I think he just wants to make sure the jury
Any other
sees
sports
it that way,
activity
but
was involved
still.
in?
Just through the youth sports. There was an alumni football game he played in, and
He appeared a model of health, didn't he?
yes.
And yet, what did you observe in about 2018?
Mike seemed really agitated, really not really himself.
When he was himself, what was he like?
Focused.
Focused.
Yes.
Task-oriented, wasn't he?
Yes. Very.
And then around 2018, he started being what?
It like I said, he wasn't himself. He didn't act the same.
Did he have any? Well, was he ever confused?
There was an instance where
I'm confused every day.
He seemed very confused.
Did he complain about headaches?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Not
confused
me.
all the time.
Not that I remember.
When did he appear confused to you?
There was an instance where the families went to eat. We went out to eat, and there was an instance there.
Okay. Is that the Panera Bread situation?
Yes.
That wasn't one of the shows aggressive.
No.
In fact, he hated it with an unbridled passion.
Yes. He
No, some people hate Panera Bread.
yes.
And says what?
Jamie, what if any restaurant do you hate with a passion?
With an unbridled passion. I don't know. I can't.
I don't know
He
why.
really
when
hated
someone,
that Panera Bread, didn't he?
I don't. The part of the menu I saw yesterday, it looked fine. I could go to a Panera Bread and get a soup and a sandwich. But
I just want to know the story behind it. What happened to you? Who
did he
hurt
find
you
a
at Panera
a
Bread?
guy's finger in his soup, or was there, I don't know, poo on his letters? What happened that made the guy hate Panera Bread with an unbridled?
Oh my God. It's so stupid. Oh my God.
Yeah, I love strongman sport. It's a wonderful sport to watch. Sue hates Arby's, but not with an unbridled passion.
Is it what? Yeah, it was. Oh my God. I can't with
Oh,
this
cheesecake,
Panera Bread.
I don't hate with an unbridled passion. I hate it because it's not good.
I can't like stand places, but I'm just don't. I mean, but I don't like. I'm just picturing him driving by a Panera Bread and just getting so angry.
Yeah, just oh, No. Oh, they're
There
running
it
a
is.
special this week. Oh, on spicy chicken. Guess who don't like their spicy chicken? This guy. Every time.
Just middle finger out the window. Every time he sees it.
Yeah. In their house, they found a manifesto. He was about to go.
She said, "Oh my God, Dom, if I ever wake up in a Panera Bread again, so help me." Oh shoot.
Yeah, and he must have hated a lot. This guy, yeah, they were in business together, and he was a trainer, but he even told him, "I hate Panera." I went to the Cheesecake Factory, and it was good. I liked their spicy pizza. I liked the chocolate cheesecake. I hated the vanilla one, and I hated the ones the TVR and the expert got. But the one me and the Vegas Rick got, they were good.
I mean, Panera Bread, I could take it or leave it. Like, I just never, I've never had an unbridled hatred for something. Like a chain restaurant. Oh God.
We were sitting around the table together, and he looked at me and said, "You have a hat on." And
Okay.
you
Are
know,
we gonna
at
get
the
the
time,
story?
we laughed about it. I was like, "Mike, I always have a hat. I always wear a hat," and never thought anything about that until after. And it kind of was like, wow, that was really kind of weird for Mike to ask me. I didn't have a hat on.
Was he ever confused about where he left his car?
Oh, well, God damn.
I
want to know
can't
the
say that I would know anything about that.
Was he, you said he was agitated. How was he, what was he agitated about?
We never discussed where the agitation come from. I mean, he would, he just seemed really visibly agitated.
Okay. Now,
I thought when he said you had a hat on, he would say, "Is that a Panera Bread hat?
Is that a
You
Panera
take that
Bread
off
hat?
now. You take it off."
I'm gonna set it on fire.
Yeah, either you take it off and I'll burn that Panera Bread hat, or you keep it on and I'll still torch it.
I thought that's where he was going. I was like, are we gonna get the story? And he just did it. I was like, I want to know about this Panera Bread hatred. Come on, guys, let's dig it up. Somebody find it.
Jemima, can you share the link to the word thingy for the bingo?
did Michael, you knew that Michael went to the hospital in October and November of 2018. Right?
Yes.
Did you see him before he went to the hospital in October and November?
I'm sure I did.
Okay. Do you remember what he was like, or what he acted like?
I don't remember instances, but I know that he was pretty sick.
Okay. And he stayed in the hospital on 2 different occasions then?
Yes.
Do you know whatever the doctors told him was wrong with him?
I never heard a diagnosis. We kept the kids, so we didn't weren't involved in that aspect of it.
Did he ever tell you what was wrong with him?
I heard black mold, which was brought up.
Did he ever? He said that he didn't like hospitals, did he?
No, he did not.
Never wanted to go back to the hospital.
Exactly.
All right. Did you ever know that he was using any substances to be more athletic, let's say?
Yes.
What do you know about that?
I don't know the details of what he took. I don't know, but Mike was very concerned with his body and his appearance.
Did he ever tell you he was taking substances?
I don't think that conversation ever came up.
Did you know from any personal knowledge that he was taking substances?
I would just gather that, with his physical appearance, that he
They
would
blackmolded him.
take supplements and various other things.
Various other things.
What kind of contractual relationship did you have with Michael? What did you do for him other than this first contract? Did you have any other work for him?
Yes, I did pretty much anything that was graphic wise. I handled that for them.
Okay. How did he appear to you in January or in February of 2019?
January was I think was around the time that the Panera Bread, the hacked comment came out.
And from then on, how did he appear?
Wait, what?
He just.
That was when the Panera Bread thing was in early. Did I say early January or February?
Is when he was starting to just slander
lose it.
Panera Bread to lose it.
I was trying to get an AI to make a picture of a guy who hates Panera Bread.
To me, my opinion, that he seemed really wired. Really.
He seemed what?
Wired.
Wired.
Yes.
Did he ever tell you what bothered him?
No.
Did he ever suggest anything to you that he was in any physical discomfort?
No.
Never complained about his health?
No, not to me.
Okay. All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Cross-examination, Mr. Truman.
Thank you. Mr. Treadway, could you go into a little more detail about you're a graphic designer? Is that what you are?
Yes.
Okay. What does a graphic designer do?
I designed their sign out front of their business. I did a design for a firearm. I designed T-shirts. I designed baseball uniforms, logos for the baseball uniforms.
Letterhead? Does
No.
anybody do letterhead anymore?
No.
So you never had any involvement with any of the letterhead that the Cochrans might have utilized, or specifically the defendant?
No.
There's a fraudulent document that the defendant sent around on Bank of.
We haven't seen many pictures of Michael, but allegedly this is one of him.
So ridiculous.
He had the black mold soup and the black mold sandwich.
That should be on your thumbnail for now on.
No, already are calling it fraudulent.
All right, let's just call it a straight out document at this point.
Thank you. A Bank of America document. Would a graphic designer create this document?
I would guess.
Okay, but you're saying it wasn't you?
No.
And now it's him who did it.
Oh, so they're trying to bring this guy into creating some fake document?
Yes.
God, Baker.
No.
Okay. Now, let me take you to the date of Mr. Cochran's collapse, February the 6th of 2019.
Yeah, the state did just imply that he could have helped a little bit, or maybe he should have seen that it was a bad graphic, because that's what you do when someone sends you an email. The first thing you do is always go and check, could this be a forgery? when they send you a letterhead, especially people you work with and you invest in their same business. Oh, sorry. Oh, it's just another picture.
I wasn't asked. I called Natalie to see if she needed some help.
Out of the clear blue, or how did that happen?
She had texted me, told me Mike had failed.
Okay. Did she send you the picture with that, or just tell you?
I'm not sure of that, and I'm not sure of that.
Okay. Do you know what time you got to the Cochran house?
It was in the evening. It was late. I taught classes at Concord, so it was late in the evening.
Graphic design classes?
Yes.
Okay. Take a look at this. Oops.
Well, he resents them, but not with an unbridled passion.
Relative to what,
Unbridled passion. I have a new favorite.
according to you, when did you show up?
What was the question again?
Well, Chris Davis
I was there about 10-15 minutes before Chris got there. Did you know Stephanie I can't tell what that is. It's going to be interesting to see if they'll read the full text this time or they'll just imply it says something and don't read it.
here at the Cochran house while you were there, correct?
After me, yes.
And so you got there how much before he did?
I'm unclear.
Take a look at your text.
10 or 15 minutes before Chris got there.
Okay. And you don't have any reason to question your text, do you?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. You were one of the people that helped take Mr. Cochran to the car?
Yes.
Okay. And so when the defendant said that, you would not dispute that. You were absolutely one of the people. Right?
Right.
Okay. Who else helped carry Mr. Cochran to the car besides you and Chris Davis?
It's really unclear. I know Penny Carico was there. Her husband, Mario, was there. I don't remember exactly everyone that was there at that time or helped carry Mike.
You just know you did?
I carried Mike, helped Mike carry Mike to the car.
And Chris Davis did?
And Chris Davis.
There may have been some others that helped, but those are the two, you two for sure.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you've indicated you were there about 10 or 15 minutes before Chris Davis arrived. The defendant seems to indicate that you thought Mr. Cochran was getting worse. Can you explain that to us?
I do not remember having that conversation.
Okay. So you don't say, hey, I think he's getting worse. We need to do something?
I'm not a medical professional. I can't evaluate that.
Fair enough. After Mr. Cochran died on the 11th of February of 2019, do you recall giving the defendant some advice as to what she should do legally?
I don't recall that.
Does that help you remember?
Yes.
Okay. And why were you suggesting that she's make that timeline?
In any circumstance, I wouldn't know why you wouldn't do that.
And you were also helping her remember that she checked Mr. Cochran's vital signs, correct?
That's what it says.
She asked for your assistance in mounting her defense, didn't she?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. Did she ask you to look into Michael's phone?
Not that I remember.
Okay, well, that it's been a while back. Let's take a look at this.
Can you folks read this on the screen?
Nope.
Okay, because I can't. But happily, I have a little monitor right here.
Yeah, they don't fit very well on there, but she'll bring you his phone to crack his phone. You remember that now?
I remember looking at the phone to see if there was anything that I could help her with.
I'm trying to get all the photos out of it.
There.
And you were trying to figure out why she couldn't get into it. You asked her some questions about that, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, Mr. Treadway, you were asked to provide statements to the law enforcement people that were investigating your friend's death. What was your response to that?
No, thank you.
So you were not interested in cooperating with the state police, people who are investigating this?
No, thank you.
Michael was a friend of yours?
Yes, he was.
Okay. And you made a very succinct comment about what you would tell them.
What?
Remember what you said?
Not right offhand.
It's a statement, they won't get shit from me. Come to your recollection?
If that's what the text message says, then that's what it is.
And that is the way you felt about it. They weren't going to get any cooperation out of you.
That's what the text message says.
I didn't ask you if that's what the text message said. I asked you if that's what your position was. They were not going to get any help from you that would hurt the defendant, correct?
I don't recall ever saying that.
No, you didn't say that, but that's what your position was, wasn't it?
My position was no, thank you.
No, thank you, as in you're not going to get any help from me.
I didn't say no help. I said no, thank you.
No information from you.
No, thank you was my response.
For what though? Like if he doesn't believe anything bad happened.
Yeah, and again, now it's being used to punch him in the face that he said, "No, I don't want to talk to law enforcement." Then you can
Because
just
he's helping Natalie, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Did he say that?
But then you just subpoena him, and then he has to come and talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't talk to the police either, to be honest. But it's going to look bad, of course.
Yeah, of course it is. But again, no, he's not banging Natalie, and she's not running. He's not running a Ponzi scheme. He was also got money stolen, and he was always in contact with Michael.
Yeah.
So we don't have to invent 20 different explanations. It could just be that he didn't like law enforcement. Does he have a criminal history? That would probably be a better explanation than he's banging Natalie.
Shit from me. That's your response.
If that's
Not
what-
no thank you. That's your response,
Okay.
correct? That's all the questions the state had.
Yeah.
Well, they ain't
Redirect
getting
them,
shit
Mr.
from me. So what?
Yeah. He
That-
doesn't have to talk to them. How many
Michael
times do you
Cochran
want to talk to the
actually
police? Never.
locked the cell phone to the point that Natalie Cochran could not get into it.
That was what was conveyed to me.
So some of those messages that we saw in court were the messages sent by Michael Cochran, not Natalie Cochran.
Yeah.
Because she had no access to it.
Exactly.
And then, so when and he controlled that situation, didn't he?
It was his phone.
It was his phone. So then after he died, she wanted to know what What was on it? What
No, read the text message. She wanted to get the pictures.
messages were, right?
Right.
And she asked you to help you decode it.
If I could, yes.
It's not a big deal, is it? You
If
didn't
you,
think it was a big deal.
I didn't think at the time that was a big deal.
Okay. Now, the prosecutor asked you, and it's still on the screen, about this. Well, they ain't getting shit from me. Well, would you care to enlighten us as to why?
I was asked if I wanted to give a statement, and I did some research before I talked to them and told them no, thank you.
Would you care to show us what type of research you did?
I did some research and I found a document that had some information about some witness tampering. And so I didn't think that that was someone that I needed to talk to.
Witness tampering. Who tampered with witnesses?
There were several names in the article.
But it wasn't my client who tampered with witnesses.
No.
Somebody else tampered with witnesses according to that article, and that's why you refused to talk to the police.
Exactly.
What kind of witnesses are we talking about in this case?
No, not in this case.
I see. So you did not believe that talking to the police officers would be appropriate because they weren't trustworthy. Is that what?
Correct.
Okay.
He didn't trust the cop.
No, he looked into the
I mean,
he looked into the officer and saw
Is it-
something about
is it
witness
true that-
tampering, so he didn't want to
Yeah.
corroborate with
There were
him.
very specific officers. That
Get
were
I mean-
mentioned.
get that
Yes.
piece of paper
All
up
right.
there.
Okay, that's all.
Anything further, Mr. Truman?
So this is a generic witness tampering fear that you had and not related to the investigators in this case. Is that correct?
The article contained names of investigators in this case.
And this article came from where?
The Charleston Gazette.
And they accused the investigators in this case of tampering with witnesses?
Not with this case, the case that they worked on previously.
And it specifically named Heinzman and Bledsoe?
Yes, sir.
And this is a Charleston Gazette article.
Yes, sir.
Get that article
And
up
you
there.
don't know if
They
there's
should
any
have
merit
that.
to that or not. That was just a report in the Charleston Gazette.
I'm pretty sure there was a settlement involved.
You don't know if there was any merit to it. You just know what you read in the Charleston Gazette.
Exactly.
Okay. Which means you may not know anything. That's all the questions the state has.
it's possible.
Last comment
He
by
may
the
not, but he didn't feel
Oh,
comfortable.
oh,
That's his prerogative.
Any further questions, Mr. Victor?
That's all the questions.
And a
I
lot
have.
of-
Thank you, Your Honor.
A lot
Any
of
reason
stuff
to hold
that's
this
out there
witness?
isn't
None
true,
from the state or anything.
but still.
Any reason to recall this gentleman?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down, Mr. Treadway. You are.
What were the names of the two officers?
I just know Bledsoe was one of them. I don't know what the other guy's name was.
Let's see if we can find it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, he doesn't have to talk to the police at all.
no,
It's up to him.
Maybe
people
that's
may
why,
think it looks bad, but honestly,
Yeah.
would you?
then bring in that article.
Yeah.
hmm.
Isn't the first guy's name Timothy Bledsoe? Am I wrong? I don't know.
Lieutenant Bretzel was the guy who testified yesterday, the lead
Yes.
investigator who was retired and looked really, really young. But I can't. Maybe it's because I write Gazelle wrong. I'll Google.
The
Happily, ladies and gentlemen, we are right at the
Gazette.
noon hour, and we will take our luncheon recess at this time. Please be back in your jury room a little bit before 1 o'clock, and we will try to start up promptly. Do not discuss the case among yourselves or with anyone else. Please do
Nothing
not
shows
view,
up.
observe, or listen to any
I need
reports
mine
concerning
to-
this trial
He's
or
way better
matters
than me.
concerning this case. Enjoy your lunch. You may go with the bailiff now to your jury room.
When are we back? Did I hear that?
I missed it.
1:15?
Gentlemen, we are right at the noon hour, and we will take our luncheon recess at this time. Please be back in your jury room a little bit before 1 o'clock, and we observe your.
So 1 o'clock today.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but then I think they should have brought in, if they were going with that, well, he distrusted them because there was some shenanigans going on. They should have that article ready for recross. But I can't find anything. So
I'm sure someone can if they want to.
yeah, because it might be geolocked. A lot of the smaller newspapers in the US we can't access from Europe because we have EU making rules.
Mm-hmm.
Heinzman.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe if
What
I
do you say?
dig
The
out Charleston
Charleston Gazette. What a fun! I always thought that was a fun name for a newspaper. The Gazette. Sounds so fancy.
Nope. Nothing pops up when I write those two names. What is this? Of course, I can find a picture of a newspaper, but I can't blow it up so I can read it. There's one that's called Gawley Bridge Police Under Investigation, but I can't see when it's from or anything. That's a little annoying, Jamie. Why can't I find it?
I don't know.
Well, I blame Jemima.
Oh, John Gary just said there's a link to a Charleston Gazette article about police witness tampering allegations, but it's behind a paywall.
Oh, yeah, well, that doesn't help us.
Yeah.
Well, Jaime.
Just call me Jaime.
I'm saying this morning has been a little bit of mixed bag of bonbons. I think they have done well trying to prove he was involved in the business angle. They don't have to prove motive, but they mention it in the opening statements so that the defense can attack it in closing statements. I think that's good for them. The roids, I want a receipt. I want a receipt from the internet where he ordered it. I need a doctor to talk about his medical history, and I need a doctor to talk about insulin and roid use together.
Yeah.
Those
I
are the
think they
three
might
things.
with that. That'll be great.
A mixed bag of bonbons, hard candy. That's what we say in
No,
Denmark.
I mean, what did you think about him? I think the daughter was weak. I mean, I think what he brought her up there for was weak. It should have been more of just like my mom and my dad and kind of their relationship and stuff. And then the sister I thought was better because she's an adult and she's, I don't know, like she got hosed too. So like, I mean, she could lie, but she felt more realistic. And like, oh, I've seen him do he was taking these supplements, blah, 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 even though if she didn't know what they were.
Do Mexican dealers usually give receipts? If you order it online, you have to order it as something. You can't get it shipped to you without claiming that this is for your horse or whatever you write on those packages. So there should be a paper trail saying, well, he always, because they mentioned a company yesterday. I looked into it, and when I Googled it, it said they sold DVD players, energy drinks, and I didn't see roids, but it seemed like a fake company. Was David Jones one of the names mentioned?
I don't know.
And this is
Bledsoe for
Charleston
sure.
Gazette article.
Yes,
What kind of witnesses are we talking about in this?
correct.
They were mentioned there in
Yes.
that article. All right. Okay, that's all.
Generic.
Anything further, Mr. Truman?
So this is a generic witness tampering fear that you had and not related to the investigators in this case. Is that correct?
The article contained names of investigators in this case.
And this article came from where?
The Charleston Gazette.
And they accused the investigators in this case of tampering with witnesses?
Not with this case, the case that they worked on previously.
And it specifically named Heinzman and Bledsoe?
Yes, sir.
And this is a Charleston Gazette article.
Yes, sir.
And you don't know if there's any merit to that or not. That was just a report in the Charleston Gazette.
Well, you trust everyone who said whatever you like to hear. He trusted the Charleston Gazette for what he wanted to hear. It's fair when you do it. It's not fair when he does it. That's always the position. Sue, I don't think you can fly from West Virginia in a small hobby plane. It'll take a long time. So, but you could probably just. I would bet you I could get access to Reuters this week if I wanted to in Denmark, where it's highly illegal. It's not that hard to get. You shouldn't do it. It's almost like, have you heard about, Jamie, I'm going to say a word here. Close your young ears.
Okay, earmuffs.
Illegal drugs like Colombian powder, the meth, the rocks, they are highly illegal and you can get them everywhere. Jamie, you can listen again.
Okay, I'm back.
So it's really easy to get roids. In Denmark, they normally come in via Holland, along with the speed and the amphetamines. People who know Dutch accents, as we do them on Danish TV, would laugh at that one. But when you would you get a receipt? No, but she claims he bought it off the internet through a company called Amazon.com. Amazon.com. No, Amazon Shop. Oh, what was it? LYDLL LLC or something. I looked it up. I didn't press the link because it looked like it had all the internet herpes. But I found it yesterday, but I can't. Maybe it's in my search history because she mentioned Amazon Shop. No, it's not. Dutch Shop. No, I get no. It doesn't pop up in my search bar from yesterday, but I did look it up, and it looked like it had internet herpes. So don't press the link. I do everything to keep. I've talked to Jamie's dad, and he said, "My little Jamie, 22 years old, she haven't seen much of the world because she never leaves her house. So please spare her from your vulgar Danish crosswords."
Yep. Sounds just like my dad.
No, it's not Nutri something. I can't remember it. There is always a way. But I think it was, again, a mixed bag. I don't think the daughter did well. The sister, when I found out, she also owed them money. Yeah, I think both of them. I think, to me, it has strengthened my view, and he was in on the Ponzi scheme, because the last guy said, well, I only dealt with Michael, and the sister said, well, he cut me checks sometimes. So that you have to know something.
Yeah.
But Jamie, I'll need to go make myself some asparagus soup and then be back in 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I like asparagus soup.
I guess.
Oh, I wanted to play it. Oh, there
I
it
like
is.
turtles.
I do like fake turtle. We have a dish called fake turtles. I like that. I haven't had it in a million years. You should try it, Jamie. It's good. Other than that, you should get some dinner, Jamie, and well, maybe some lunch before all that. I won't be going to Panera Bread. Panera Bread can kiss my.
What exhibit are you referring to? I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor. All right. 100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
So you literally built a cannon?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love. Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.
So there-
Everybody has.